At a remote shrine, an evil god learned that a hero from another world had already defeated the demon lord. Frustration grew as divine restrictions prevented direct interference with mortals. Soon the pair noticed the victory happened unusually fast, raising suspicion. Seeking another method, the evil god considered affecting the hero before reincarnation. Inspired by the suggestion, he decided to place a curse on the hero's soul and turn him into a useless hero. Haruto arrived in a strange place and immediately sought answers about his situation. Realization struck when he learned that his death had been caused by the one before him. Soon afterward, the evil god confirmed that Haruto had been forcibly reincarnated into his world. Rather than accepting it, Haruto questioned the need for such a cruel method. With a smug expression, the evil god explained that fear, despair. Haruto accepted that he had truly died and began thinking about his reincarnation. Expectation filled him as he hoped to receive powerful skills from the god. Instead, the evil god revealed a special gift meant for him. Confusion followed when the gift turned out to be a curse. Soon the curse fixed Haruto's status permanently at level 1, preventing any future growth. Despite Haruto's protests, the evil god began the reincarnation process and sent him away. A huge amount of divine and dark energy was consumed to complete the transfer. Exhaustion soon overcame the evil god after pushing the reincarnation beyond interference. While recovering, he discovered an unexpected error in Haruto's assigned job class. Even so, both believed the curse and fixed status would keep Haruto too weak to threaten their plans. After finishing the reincarnation, the exhausted evil god left the remaining task to his assistant. To hide their actions, she prepared a ritual that would decide the hero's destination. Confident in the outcome, she aimed for a result that would make him a slave. The dart flew toward the target as planned. Unexpectedly, the assistant watched in surprise when the result failed to unfold as expected. The assistant was alarmed when the ritual unexpectedly selected a noble status for Haruto. Nevertheless, she convinced herself that the curse would still prevent him from becoming a proper hero. Meanwhile, Haruto retained memories of his death. The evil god and his forced reincarnation questions lingered in his mind about the curse and its true purpose. Soon he awakened in a warm, unfamiliar place and realized his new life had begun. As consciousness returned, Haruto sensed warmth and softness around him, leaving him confused. Opening his eyes, he found a young maid beside him, apologizing while checking on his condition. Gradually, Haruto recognized the girl as Tina, the personal maid who had cared for him since his birth in this world. Haruto woke from a troubling dream and found Tina comforting him, holding onto her reassurance. He accepted her promise to remain by his side and felt his unease fade away. Years earlier, Tina requested to become the newborn child's personal maid instead of only a tutor. Surprisingly, the offer was accepted, though questions remained about her unusual devotion. Since then, 5 years had passed and Tina continued watching over Haruto. Haruto realized he had been born into a noble family and expected an easy life ahead. Seeing a luxurious breakfast, he planned to use knowledge from his previous world to gain advantages. During the meal, mayonnaise caught his attention. Tina revealed the recipe already existed in this world. Shock spread across his face as he learned another hero had arrived long before him. Realizing someone else had introduced many innovations, Haruto's plans quickly fell apart. Frustration overwhelmed Haruto as he cursed the fate forced upon him by the evil god. Panic followed when he realized he remained level 1 forever and could never grow stronger normally. The next day, Tina informed him that magic training would begin soon. Increasing his anxiety, determined to improve, he searched for a way to check his status. Once the status screen appeared, Haruto discovered a permanent curse. Bath time left Haruto embarrassed as Tina continued caring for him as she always had. Later, he decided to sleep alone and tried to end their habit of sharing a bed. Memories from his previous life made the situation difficult, so he hid his true reason. Shock appeared across Tina's face after hearing his request. Confused and worried, she struggled to understand the sudden change while Haruto awkwardly stood by his decision. After spending his first night alone, Haruto worried about his family from his previous world. Morning arrived and Tina appeared cheerful as ever, easing his concerns. During training, Haruto was stunned to learn Tina had already reached level 250. Realizing her immense strength, he understood she served as both maid and bodyguard. Soon afterward, Tina began demonstrating basic fire magic while Haruto watched carefully. Tina demonstrated the lowest tier of fire magic, yet the spell struck with overwhelming force. Embarrassed, she admitted getting carried away while trying to provide a proper example. Further explanation revealed that Tina carried the bloodline of a legendary hero. Although the answer satisfied part of his curiosity, Haruto still sensed something unusual. Following her guidance, he focused on his mana and successfully felt magical energy flowing through his body. Haruto gathered mana with surprising ease, causing Tina to pause and watch him closely. Amazement filled her face as she praised his natural talent and rapid progress. Encouraged by the result, Tina allowed him to attempt casting a spell. Following her instructions, Haruto carefully shaped the mana while hiding concerns about his curse. He successfully created a fire lance on his first attempt, leaving her completely stunned. Tina was astonished when Haruto cast a perfect fire lance on his very first attempt. The following day, she left briefly, giving him a bell to use in emergencies alone in the training yard. Haruto decided to test his limits. Fire lance after fire lance flew from his hands without interruption. Even after 30 casts, his mana remained untouched, prompting him to open his status screen. Haruto discovered that neither his mana nor any of his attributes had changed despite repeated spell casting. Further testing confirmed the result. Strengthening his suspicion about the curse, concluded that his statistics were permanently fixed, rather than decreasing or increasing. Instead of giving up, Haruto searched for ways to exploit the unusual condition and grow stronger. As the afternoon passed and hunger arrived, he wondered whether ringing Tina's bell would bring her back. The moment the bell rang, Tina rushed back at incredible speed, fearing that Haruto had been injured. Relief replaced her panic when she learned he had only become hungry after training all afternoon. Beyond defeating the evil god someday, Haruto resolved to become stronger for Tina's sake as well. A month after arriving in another world, Haruto joined his first monster hunt. Quickly, Tina trapped the target with an ice wall, preventing its escape and creating an opening. Suddenly, the frightened monster charged straight toward him. Concentrating carefully, Haruto formed a thin, sharp spear of fire. Moments later, the spell struck cleanly, defeating the monster in a single hit and completing his first successful hunt. Tina praised Haruto for staying calm during the hunt, while the defeated monster lay motionless on the ground. Soon, the reality of taking a life weighed heavily on him, replacing his earlier excitement with unease. Gently, Tina comforted Haruto and explained that horned rabbits often attracted dangerous predators. Meanwhile, she described how monster extermination protected the town. Haruto resolved to respect every life and learn how to make better use of hunted creatures. He carefully prepared the horned rabbit while Tina helped him process the meat during the meal. He tasted the dish and slowly accepted the value of the life that had been taken. Watching quietly, Tina felt confident that Haruto would grow into an exceptional magician. She reflected on the hunt and realized his fire spell had pierced even her ice magic. Another memory surfaced as Haruto revealed that he had been secretly strengthening his practice targets every day. She noticed his strength increasing steadily despite his unchanged level and status. Later that night, she wondered whether he might be connected to someone she had been searching for. Choosing patience over certainty, Tina decided to wait, just as she had done for many years. 5 years passed, and Haruto finally enrolled in a prestigious magic academy. Before his first day could begin smoothly, an unexpected collision suddenly interrupted his thoughts. After the collision, a noble student accused a frightened girl of disrespecting the son of Baron Zordi. Uncertain and overwhelmed, the girl struggled to decide how to respond to the situation. Nearby, another student observed the scene and realized the nobles were unfairly shifting the blame onto her. Disapproving of their behavior, he prepared to step forward despite their higher social status. She noticed something familiar about his collar and urgently tried to stop him. Recognizing the 3 white lines on his collar, the girl realized the student before her belonged to a count's family, a rank above the baron's household. A wealthy student insulted the girl, but Matthias's presence made his group pause and retreat. Matthias warned them quietly, offering peace if they departed. Intimidated, the boys reluctantly walked away. Afterward, Matthias comforted the girl, explaining that not all nobles acted like arrogant bullies. The girl, finally able to breathe, thanked Matthias deeply for rescuing her from harassment. Embarrassed, she apologized for earlier. Matthias smiled, jesting lightly to soothe her anxious expression. Haruto brushed off the formal apology and asked the noble to show sincerity through future actions. Trying to lighten things, Haruto suggested friendship, jokingly pressuring the noble into reluctantly accepting his offer. Haruto offered his hand confidently, calling it friendship. The noble hesitated, then finally accepted with resignation. They shook hands. The girl, still unsure, gathered courage and asked to join them as well. Haruto cheerfully introduced them all. The noble protested, but Haruto beamed, glad to gain new friends. Luna introduced herself warmly. Haruto smiled, but Rook seemed overwhelmed by their sudden group bonding. After the ceremony, Haruto invited them to his noble estate, surprising Luna with the invitation. Following the school map, they approached a grand mansion, unsure if it was actually Haruto's. The mansion's size stunned them. Even Haruto was surprised by how lavish his new home looked. Tina, the maid, welcomed them cheerfully. Haruto proudly introduced his new friends to his household. Haruto requested a shared meal to welcome his new companions, smiling warmly with sincere gratitude. Tina prepared the food while the trio relaxed, hoping they'd end up classmates after announcements. The next day, they discovered they were all placed in the same room, to everyone's surprise. They admired the elegant classroom building as they verified their assigned room from the school map. Inside, their classmates waited. With all 10 present, the teacher noted the class was now complete. Lifa introduced herself politely while Melody cheerfully declared friendship, excited to meet new classmates. Ryushin introduced his quiet sister Ryuka and Yuko, who requested respectful treatment with confident energy. Haruto noticed Yuko's fox tails, wondering if others saw them. While she smiled mysteriously nearby, the silent twin girls, Mai and Mei, gave their names in perfect, synchronized harmony and expression. Haruto, Luna, and Rook took turns introducing themselves, completing the 10-member class's formal introduction round. Lifa questioned Haruto's noble status, but he humbly chose to be treated as a peer. Another student implied Haruto's father influenced class assignments, and Haruto admitted it might have happened accidentally. Ryushin noticed their class lacked a designated teacher, unlike the others, raising suspicion and curiosity. Haruto, puzzled, observed the hallway while another student mentioned how every other class had instructors. To everyone's shock, Tina entered as their teacher. Haruto was stunned to see his maid. Tina formally introduced herself as the class instructor, surprising everyone and signaling a new beginning. Students in the Arcane Academy whisper in shock after hearing the instructor's name. Tina Haribel returns. Standing quietly, Tina confirms her identity, surprising everyone by claiming she is the legendary figure from history. A student questions Tina's age. She evades the answer, calling herself Tina Sensei with a relaxed smile. Another student challenges her, recalling Tina should have vanished after defeating the Demon Lord long ago. Tina displays her status board level 250, leaving students stunned by proof of her immense magical power. A curious student questions Tina's motives, wondering why someone so powerful would become their instructor now. Tina casually reveals her motive. She's Haruto's personal maid and teaches simply to kill time. She explains joining the academy after finding a teacher recruitment flyer while staying near Haruto-sama. Another student learns classrooms are fought over. Tina suspiciously hides something while listing nearby shops and benefits. The students realize the classroom is a prime location, and others may soon challenge to take it. Students realize they must battle upperclassmen regularly, raising concern about keeping control of the valuable classroom. Tina confidently claims her students can become powerful, then begins training by asking them to use magic. A student requests to go all out. Tina agrees, inviting everyone to show their full magical power. The students prepare to battle each other. Tina explains it helps them understand allies' strengths and flaws. Lifa volunteers to start the match. With permission, she steps forward and begins chanting her attack spell. Lifa silently draws her magical bow, concentrating her power before launching her demonstration with elegant grace. She releases a swift magical shot, shouting "Wind Arrow," launching energy directly into the floating crystal target. The class is impressed her spell pierces the target. Tina praises her and calls the next students. Twin students step forward and synchronize their casting, preparing to unleash their coordinated and unique spell. The twins unleash a dazzling combined attack, chanting "Unison Ray," as magical energy spirals fiercely around them. A student named Ryushin volunteers next, activating Dragon Morph and changing his arms into scaled weapons. Tina explains he can alter body parts for battle, impressing classmates as dragon scales form visibly. Ryushin strikes using Dragon Claw, smashing the crystal, revealing his identity as a warrior of dragon kind. Others react to his feat. One student envies the result. Another jokes it was combined damage. A girl steps up to go next, restores a new target using magic shaped from imagination. Classmates are amazed. Ryuka can restore the crystal using rare restoration magic from the Dragon Miko lineage. Tina explains Ryuka's magic revives anything. With lingering magic, Haruto is shocked by her unique talent. Haruto reflects on the class's strength, realizing Tina's confidence came from recruiting these powerful students early. Overwhelmed, Haruto panics, realizing he's still cursed at level 1 while surrounded by elite magical prodigies. Matthias concealed his curse from Tina. The target was chosen. Tension permeated the training ground. Luna volunteered eagerly to battle. Meldy accepted her offer, and their synchronized teamwork instantly commenced. Luna cast powerful support spells on Meldy, boosting strength, magic, speed, and mental focus simultaneously. Meldy felt unstoppable power. It was her first time receiving such immense magical support enhancements. With enhanced force, Meldy launched her strongest technique, Hikuken Flying Air Fist, destroying the target instantly. Meldy's punch demolished the entire target wall, creating a smoking hole and quieting the field. Everyone was stunned by Meldy's overwhelming force. She smiled nervously, realizing she exceeded limits again. The instructor praised their teamwork. Luna and Meldy's synergy left a lasting impression on everyone watching. After 8 demonstrations, the instructor inquired which of the final 2 students would display their magic. Matthias hesitated. A strange sensation stirred inside him. He feared triggering his curse's hidden power again. Luke volunteered next. Haruto's reputation made others anxious, so they gladly let him go last. Luke stepped forward confidently. The instructor approved, and the battlefield cleared for his demonstration turn. Standing resolutely, Luke summoned divine energy. His spell, Thunder Hammer, ignited with brilliant magical pressure. The chant bound strength to a contract. Observers were shocked that his spell structure resembled a sacred invocation. Lightning Surge. Luke declared a servant pact, awakening the sealed divine power hidden within his body. Luke's Ultima Thunder landed violently. The floor cracked apart, astounding spectators with its extreme force. Haruto was the last to go. He froze, doubting himself after watching Luke's overwhelming display. Tina stopped Haruto immediately, warning him to only use 30% power to avoid structural collapse. Spectators questioned Tina's request. Even Luke's full power was fine, yet Haruto was being restricted. Haruto misunderstood. He believed Tina pitied him, thinking he was the weakest link in the class. Haruto prepared his strike. He feared destroying the fragile target and being misunderstood by his classmates. Tina activated defensive magic. Haruto agreed to limit his strength and make the blast spectacular. Haruto began casting. Despite his curse, he layered weak spells rapidly into immense magical power. Tina grew tense. Haruto's preparations were intense, even restricted. His magic overwhelmed everyone watching closely. Haruto layered thunder, fire, and dark explosion spells thousands deep, just to make the attack visually spectacular. Haruto stood surrounded by raw energy. He prepared to release the entire force at once. His eyes focused sharply with total control. He had no hesitation as the final moment approached. Haruto unleashed his spell, shouting, "Firelands?" A wide-range explosive blast filled the battlefield with surging power. Tina panicked and screamed to stop him, realizing too late that Haruto misunderstood the limit instruction. A shadowy figure commented softly, marveling at fate's irony in meeting a chosen hero. Yuko entered the restricted room, skipping class to search for magical tools and hidden knowledge. Suddenly, a booming sound shook the walls. Yuko turned, startled by the unexpected magical backlash. Running outside, she saw students frozen in shock, staring silently at the ruin ahead. A massive crater split the ground. Only one boy stood calmly, unharmed at its center. A massive figure emerged from the rubble, panting. Tina barely held herself upright after the battle. Her trembling hands revealed blackened gloves, evidence of power drawn far beyond safe limits. Haruto recognized the exhausted girl immediately, shocked by her state. "Tina," he whispered softly. Tina approached slowly, apologizing to Haruto, her step shaky and her voice full of regret. She snapped, scolding Haruto because he had used far more magic than allowed, endangering them both. Tina raised her hands, blocking Haruto's blast and barely preventing widespread destruction across the central district. She explained frantically how the academy lacked the barriers she maintained daily at the family estate. Haruto listened in shock. Tina had nearly collapsed defending against magic he used so casually. Onlookers whispered in disbelief. Haruto's power, even without enhancements, had overwhelmed a level 250 instructor. The instructor dismissed class, ordering others to return. Haruto, unsurprisingly, was told to stay behind. Haruto apologized quietly. Tina reminded him she had warned against using full power without restraint. Tina revealed the enchanted glove saved her life. Without it, she would have died from the impact. She explained it was a single-use magic tool, tied to a life-saving defense spell. The item was a gift from someone precious. Haruto panicked, offering to make amends. Haruto promised anything. Tina, overwhelmed by emotion and exhaustion, cried softly as she accepted. Tina hesitated, gathering courage to ask Haruto something personal and emotionally significant to her. Tearfully, she begged to share a room again, longing for warmth, comfort, and a restored connection. Blushing and trembling, Tina asked for a hug. Haruto, overwhelmed, quietly agreed without resistance. Tears streaming, she thanked him sincerely, grateful for his kindness, patience, and unexpected readiness to understand. After expressing her heart, Tina turned to leave, her footsteps light and her spirit finally at ease. Tina hugged Haruto tightly, trembling, finally releasing her fear after everything she had faced alone. Haruto comforted her gently. Apologizing again, she relaxed in his arms, silently letting herself cry. With a peaceful smile, Tina whispered how Haruto's embrace gave her strength and peace again. Later that night, they talked in bed. Tina prepared to reveal her hidden past. Haruto nodded warmly, ready to listen. "I want to hear Tina's story." At night, he quietly asked Tina why someone so talented would choose to serve him, despite powerful connections and national offers. Tina declined all, choosing instead to work for him. Tina once fought beside otherworldly heroes, defeating the Demon King, unmatched in magical combat prowess. Among mighty warriors, she remembered one quiet figure, not famous, but deeply respected and revered silently. He selflessly charged into danger, slaying monsters to protect others. Tina admired that courage beyond words. He inspired others by charging into battle, giving everyone the strength to fight fearsome enemies together. Though not famous nor victorious alone, his compassion and valor made him her greatest personal hero. While tending his wounds, she gradually realized her feelings. Deep affection blossomed into unspoken heartfelt love. Despite the hero's return rule, he stayed behind, touched by her sincerity and earnest wish. The boy, puzzled by her emotions, plainly asked if they had truly been lovers once. Though their bond never became romantic, he secretly felt relieved, uncertain of her actual past despite his efforts to remain. The hero vanished after the Demon King's defeat against his will. Tina preserved a broken relic from him, sensing a rebirth of similar magic years later. She confessed her long-held belief that Haruto might be that hero, reborn through fate's silent intervention. Haruto gently dismissed the connection. Though reincarnated, he lacked that hero's memories and couldn't be him. She gently confessed her confusion. Why couldn't Haruto be the one she yearned for? She had quietly observed him for years, seeing echoes of the hero in his development. She once dreamed of the hero's return, but that wish slowly turned toward someone new. Now her heart belonged to Haruto, not the past hero but the boy before her. He asked hesitantly, she answered resolutely. Whatever the past was, she chose him now. He declared his goal to surpass the former hero and protect both Tina and the realm. Overwhelmed with joy, Tina accepted without hesitation, vowing to remain by his side always. Tina chose her own path too, to grow stronger, inspired by Haruto's unwavering determination and smile. Now committed, Haruto would train hard, aiming to become even stronger than the Demon King's slayer. The next day began with laughter and warmth. Tina and Haruto's new life had truly started. Tina softly reached for Haruto, seeking permission for something that meant the world to her. In that gentle, silent moment, their eyes met and he understood what she was about to do. Their feelings became clear in a kiss, an unspoken promise to walk the future together. Despite her curse, Tina stood proud, determined to help with everything she could still accomplish. With love in her voice, she called him my hero. Their journey had finally begun. He held her hand, quietly promising to grow, becoming the strongest level 1 sage alive. Together now, he would no longer chase another's shadow but become her sole true hero. Haruto awoke early. An unexpected visitor arrived at the gate, asking to meet him immediately. The visitor confirmed overnight fixes were finished. Expert dwarves, sent by aristocrats, repaired everything rapidly. As Tina departed for her meeting, Haruto watched the academy grounds. Now completely mended, wandering alone, Haruto pondered despite aristocratic interference. His secret being level 1 stayed securely hidden. For now, resolute, Haruto promised to utilize every method available. 2 objectives still steered his quiet determination. A sudden voice complimented Haruto's magic from behind, catching the whole classroom by surprise. Yuko, seated boldly, confessed she had watched everything before he even walked into the room. Tina neared with news, prompting Haruto to remember something significant, involving their enigmatic classmates. Inquisitive, Haruto questioned Yuko's absence during practice, noting she hadn't displayed her magic yet. With a clever smile, Yuko reminded him her magic had already been displayed in disguise. Yuko revealed her magic diminished her presence so no one observed she skipped practice entirely. She explained the spell's extra effect, resistance to damage, a scarce and intricate defensive technique. Haruto questioned the remaining magic in Yuko's tales, suspecting it might be something wholly different. Startled, Yuko reacted with disbelief. His insight had uncovered more than she meant to show. She dropped her guard slightly, realizing Haruto could view her hidden tails, evidence of her secret. Haruto confessed he could dimly see her tails, a rare ability that stunned Yuko. Fearing discovery, Yuko prepared herself to strike, threatening to eliminate Haruto for knowing too much. Another student, sensing peril, anxiously commented on Yuko's escalating hostility and volatile behavior. Yuko paused, admitting Haruto's unusual strength made fighting him impossible in her current state. Haruto promised confidentiality, and Yuko accepted with poise, deciding to keep her secret between them. Without warning, Yuko seized Haruto's arm, initiating a bizarre ritual that shocked him entirely. She pressed her lips softly onto his hand, sealing a magical pact with purpose. Haruto panicked. A magical seal radiated brightly, and he feared becoming bound and unable to oppose her. Worried he lost autonomy, Haruto demanded answers, thinking he'd just been magically enslaved by mistake. Yuko calmly corrected him that the contract made her his servant, not the other way around. Yuko revealed her true identity, a nine-tailed fox who collects magic to eventually conquer humans. Haruto immediately panicked, interrupting her speech and questioning her openly villainous proclamation of magical domination. Undeterred, Yuko raised her fist proudly, inviting Haruto to join her in ruling everything. Haruto responded with force, physically silencing her before she could utter more ridiculous ambitions. As Yuko wept, Haruto scolded her, firmly rejecting her plot to conquer the world together. Yuko, annoyed, questioned why Haruto rejected supremacy when he possessed immense magical potential. Haruto reflected on his history, once tempted by power, but his curse had altered his path. With conviction, Haruto declared his dream clearly. He wasn't a demon lord, but a future savior. Stunned, Yuko froze, unable to grasp his noble ambition and rejection of power over others. The party arrives at the guild and confirms delivery. Masaru is instructed to summon the dragon. A massive dragon corpse shocks everyone. The assessment team from the trading guild begins material inspection. Drevin receives partial payment. Though the full appraisal is pending, his initial share is surprisingly generous. Masaru laughs, explaining the peril of dragon hunting. Drevin's share includes transport rights for materials. A girl shyly asks for meat. Drevin offers plenty, but she requests a smaller portion. Masaru invites Thicc to share meat, offering her visits while he stays at the inn. Though hesitant, Thicc agrees. Masaru reassures her she won't be a bother eating together. Thicc grows serious, asking if Masaru knows what truth officers are and their secret mission. Masaru's team enjoys the dragon meat. Thicc accepts a task to help with paperwork. Drevin calls out to Masaru privately, suggesting something important needs to be discussed in confidence. Masaru rents a fully equipped house using dragon earnings, thrilled by its peaceful, self-sufficient charm. Alone in bed, Masaru longs for companionship, dreaming of romance in this male, scarce world. While walking through town, Drevin greets Masaru warmly, pointing out Shori's peaceful atmosphere and stability. Drevin explains the town's reform. Guilds replace corrupt rulers, ending crime, smuggling, and gambling dominance. He recalls asking the royal family for assistance, admitting their own limited power and resources. Masaru is shocked to learn the royal agent sent was actually Thicc all along. Thicc explains truth officers reveal lies through questioning, having exposed widespread corruption throughout the town. Masaru worries for her safety. Drevin reassures him, saying hidden guards are already protecting her. Thicc reflects privately, wondering if avoiding happiness just for safety's sake is truly fair. Drevin asks Masaru to look after Thicc, trusting him due to her rare, quiet nature. Drevin reminds Masaru that Thicca's situation is difficult, urging him to share dragon meat. Masaru psychs himself up. Though Nave, he defeated a dragon and now feels invincible. Masaru decides there's no risk. They're only eating together and she already has protection. While walking through town, Masaru greets local children who cheerfully announce his arrival to Sister Angela. Sister Angela greets Masaru warmly. He freezes in shock, overwhelmed by her sudden affectionate attention. Angela fusses over Masaru's health. A child reveals she's been praying for him daily, flustered. Angela hears the kids confirm her concern. Masaru is surprised and touched by it. Angela quietly admits she owes Masaru. Praying for him was the least she could offer. Children ask questions while enjoying meat. Masaru shares souvenirs and keeps his promise of boar. Angela asks about dragon meat. Masaru downplays his role in the subjugation, claiming minimal direct danger. Tina moved to hit the fox girl, but Haruto stepped in to protect her immediately. Yuko panicked, begging for help, while Tina accused Haruto of being controlled by a contract. Haruto shouted, stopping Tina's attack, urging she calm down before someone innocent got seriously hurt. Raising his hand, Haruto showed he bore no seal, proving his mind remained completely unaffected. Despite the curse, Haruto admitted the truth. He simply found Yuko adorable and worth protecting. Honestly, Haruto commanded Yuko to stand and act like a cat, testing her obedience playfully. Yuko spun while meowing. Haruto smiled proudly, proving she followed every order without hesitation. Despite obeying, Yuko nervously reminded them she was a fox, not meant to act like a feline. Tina pointed out Yuko could still manipulate or attack others, despite appearing obedient toward Haruto. Haruto took her hand and declared a new law: no more attacks without his direct permission. Yuko accepted the contract's restriction. Haruto promised she'd remain by his side for monitoring. Tina warned that constant proximity was dangerous. Yuko's a girl, and Haruto's virtue might suffer. Yuko smirked, noting Tina's jealousy, and pondered her official title as Haruto's new personal maid. Believing Tina wouldn't fight her, Yuko planned her next move: secure Haruto completely for herself. Daydreaming boldly, Yuko imagined a romantic night, convinced her charms would surely win Haruto's heart. Tina entered, shocked to find Yuko in bed with Haruto, arguing it was safest there. Yuko confronted Tina, casually suggesting she also intended to share the bed with Haruto tonight. Tina yelled in outrage, pointing out Yuko's inappropriate role as his instructor. Yuko boldly dismissed it. Haruto awkwardly invited Tina too. Caught off guard, she blushed and agreed, joining them in the bed. With both girls clinging close, Haruto found himself overwhelmed, accidentally touching something he really shouldn't have. Haruto welcomed Yuko too. She blushed quietly, feeling her spell might finally be working now. Yuko awoke early, dressing quickly to make breakfast, until Haruto's peaceful sleep made her pause briefly. Yuko, now in fox form, curled beside Haruto, sleeping peacefully, their breathing in perfect rhythm. Tina woke up seeing them together. Though flustered, she smiled and decided not to be angry. In the kitchen, Yuko served a warm breakfast. Tina cautiously tasted it and quietly admitted, "It's delicious." Yuko blushed deeply, cheeks puffed with joy, overwhelmed by warmth from the excellent morning meal. Learning the dish was Haruto's favorite, she marveled that this was the best thing she'd tasted. Tina quietly admitted the recipe was simple once practiced, offering to share the method kindly. Excited, Yuko begged Tina to teach her, determined to cook it perfectly for Haruto in the future. Smiling warmly, Tina accepted and invited Yuko to help with chores at Haruto's house from now on. Yuko started special housework training, but her clumsy cooking skills shocked even the experienced Tina. Tina calmly explained copper's thermal properties while Yuko panicked, struggling to cope under pressure. After intense effort, Yuko finished the omelet. Its delicious flavor amazed her beyond expectations. Proud of her tamagoyaki, Yuko imagined being praised and presenting it to her lord. Their success reminded Tina where was their lord now. She suspected he had already awakened. While Yuko trained, Haruto practiced magic alone, refining his control behind the estate's garden. Haruto requested Tina's guidance on rapid spellcasting, revealing his long commitment since early childhood. Tina explained the barrier magic protecting the estate, praising Haruto's knightly dedication and mastery. Reflecting on Haruto's devotion, both girls realized their admiration for him was steadily growing. Eager to share her tamagoyaki, Yuko greeted Haruto joyfully, offering her hard-earned success with pride. Haruto realized Yuko had trained seriously. Tina confirmed her stay came with expectations attached. He praised the food sincerely, easing Yuko's nerves and deepening their mutual understanding. Yuko's confidence surged, her cooking acknowledged. She vowed to support the household like true family. A few days later, Tina announced a mock battle against advanced 7th year students, shocking everyone. Worried first, years questioned the sudden match. Doubts stirred as they faced overwhelming senior opponents. Tina explained the tournament format: 5-on-5 knockouts. She reassured everyone with calm confidence and facts. Smiling with certainty, Tina declared her students stronger, then began announcing the chosen battle participants. Both classes assembled for battle. The first years faced the intimidating and experienced 7th year challengers. Seeing the seniors' faces, a young girl flinched, recognizing them as especially dangerous or cruel. The seniors mocked and threatened them arrogantly, belittling first years with insults and class-based intimidation. Haruto's team recognized the seniors from earlier bullies seeking revenge after the entrance ceremony. To their shock, the seniors' magical energy was incredibly weak, barely detectable by any standard. Suspicious, Haruto concluded only sages could sense their magic, masking their true power deceptively. Luna grew visibly nervous, confirming the enemy's identity, and her past with them resurfaced. Concerned, her teammates pressed gently, Luna hesitated, then finally opened up about her unsettling experience. Luna shared her past incident during the entrance ceremony, recalling Haruto and Rook's help. Despite her unease, Luna chose to stay, motivated by her desire to support everyone. The seniors taunted the girls with crude insults. Luna's teammate quietly labeled them scumbags without hesitation. The match was about to begin. Vanguards from both classes were summoned to the arena. Luna was gently reminded of a peaceful memory, perhaps to calm her tense spirit. With fierce resolve, the elf girl launched her attack, determined to punish her cruel seniors. A student tournament commences. Seniors face juniors, spectators assemble. Melody watches silently, sensing hidden tension. Ryushalin questions their capability, but Melody believes victory is attainable despite the seniors' intimidating reputation. Memories of sparring with Tina, Sensei's gargoyle, reassure them. Experience has sharpened their combat instincts immensely. They acknowledge the risk of unusual magic yet remain confident strategy outweighs seniority in battle. As battle starts, Lifa steps forward, issuing her challenge. Tension rises, the real match begins. Lifa steps onto the battlefield, her ally cheers confidently, trusting her ability without hesitation or fear. Her opponent arrogantly invites an attack, mocking her efforts and underestimating her talent from the start. Lifa reads his smug behavior as disrespect, deciding to counter boldly and seize the initiative herself. She channels massive mana into wind magic. Energy condenses sharply. Her power begins to distort the arena. Spectators observe with anxiety and awe. Lifa's magic builds pressure. Clearly, this fight won't be simple. Lifa's wind stirs wildly. A girl is blown off. Balance caught midair by Haruto's quick reflexes. Haruto holds the girl, surprised by her lightness. Something about her feels oddly strange, even fragile. Flustered by their closeness, she stares at Haruto, her emotions exposed in a single stunned moment. Before awkwardness deepens, Maya interrupts by grabbing Haruto's sleeve, unintentionally stirring jealousy and attention from the rescued girl. Suddenly, two identical girls appear side by side. Haruto freezes, stunned. Confusion spreads. Which one's real? Confusion brews between the twins. Maid defends Haruto while Mei exaggerates the rescue's significance. Macy thanks Haruto but warns him. Keeping distance from Macy is strongly advised for safety back on the battlefield. Leifa's mana erupts into a vortex, her spell preparation nears completion. The arrogant senior panics. Leifa's overwhelming magical force surpasses expectations. Spectators cheer her incredible display, frustrated but shaken. The senior acknowledges their skill. Juniors aren't ordinary. Leifa's power leaves them speechless. Lifa chants her attack spell. With fierce conviction, she unleashes a powerful focus blast arrow. The arrow strikes hard, her opponent screams in pain, overwhelmed by its force. Unable to counter, Lifa gasps. Realizing the blast's impact exceeded expectations, the magic burst is still surging forward. Nearby seniors panic and retreat. Without a barrier, they're caught in the unexpected shockwave's path. The explosion shakes the ground. Even bystanders reel. Her display of might leaves everyone in awe. Lifa stands stunned. Praised by classmates, she nervously seeks guidance from Tina, Sensei amid loud cheers. Tina proudly praises Leifa's absolute domination. She casually reveals her own role maintaining the barrier. A flustered instructor protests. Tina smugly claims no defense could have withstood her pupil's overwhelming spellcraft. Another instructor disputes legality. Tina retorts, rules forbid outside interference. Not strong internal attacks bypassing expectations. With 7th years defeated, Tina declares 1st years victorious. The instructor growls but can't argue with the results. Officials argue the downed students were spectators. Tina denies responsibility. Suddenly, a new name's called. Dedgar rises lazily, confused. Once uninvolved, he's now summoned, hinting at hidden strength and untapped danger. Abrupt rule change forces the match to restart, confusing and annoying the first-year participants. Leifa impresses with her magic, then elegantly steps down, letting the calm Ryalushin take over. Ryalushin feels immense pressure, but receives reassurance from a healer who promises resurrection. If he perishes unexpectedly, Edgar enters as Ryalushin's new opponent, perfectly matched due to his close combat specialization. Confidently stepping forward, Ryalushin vows to fight brilliantly, aiming to honor Lifa's earlier performance. Ryalushin confidently reveals his strength, openly confirming his dragon, like nature without showing any hesitation. Rain is found by classmates, scolded for deadlines and workload, yet coolly brushes off the concern. Despite the looming cutoff, The student council president assures everyone he'll complete everything on time. Edgar declares he'll only lose to one person, showing clear intent to fight Ryalushin earnestly. The match begins as Ryalushin activates Dragon Morph, eager to prove himself to his peers. Ryalushin strikes fiercely with Dragon Claw, aiming to finish the battle with one crushing blow. His attack lands hard, but Edgar survives, shielded by a strange barrier that absorbs the impact. Edgar praises Ryalushin's power, but reveals it was only a decoy to mislead him. Exploiting Ryalushin's opening, Edgar counters swiftly, catching him vulnerable after the Dragon Morph skill's delay. In a flash, Edgar's attack lands cleanly, sending Ryalushin reeling before he can react. Ryalushin collapses after Edgar's decisive blow. The match ends, with Edgar declared the rightful winner. Tension rises over Ryalushin's condition, but Ryuka defends him while agreeing to help with healing. Ryuka acknowledges Edgar's strength and plans to personally thank him once Ryalushin wakes up. The group agrees Edgar is exceptional, already a student council officer and respected among his peers. Melody hesitates, wary of Edgar's decoy magic, but admits she's figured out part of his speed. Tina is called on suddenly, surprised to learn she'll now play a vital support role. Melody prepares to fight. If Luna boosts her speed, Edgar's decoy tactic might collapse. Tina asks about match rules. With permission granted, support magic from classmates is permitted. Even with magic allowed, Tina worries Edgar's strength is still overwhelmingly high and daunting. Tina unleashes full support magic, greatly buffing Melody's stats, pushing the match toward its peak intensity. Edgar casually assesses Melody's background, while admitting he'd rather nap than deal with Beast Girl opponents. Melody boldly declares revenge for Ryalushin. Edgar smirks, amused at her fiery challenge and passion. Suspicion arises from Edgar's side. Was support magic involved without their knowledge? Even officials look increasingly concerned. One student quietly exposes the truth. Edgar's team used support magic too, possibly in secret. As realization spreads, Rain and the others conclude the match is over and unfairly aided. With teacher interference revealed, confusion spreads, leaving the match's validity and outcome in doubtful suspense. The match starts. Magic surges into her body, boosting her agility with Luna's enchanted support. Focused and determined, she prepares her opening move, channeling magic energy into a powerful strike spell. With a burst of speed, she dashes forward, hand bracing the ground for launch momentum. She propels herself through the air, fist aimed directly at her rival with sharpened magical force. A barrage of magical fists erupts mid-air. The opponent calmly analyzes her technique, unimpressed yet cautious. She accidentally loses her footing mid-attack. He counters swiftly, causing her magic blast to misfire. He evades the blast with ease, smirking as destruction tears through the floor behind him. Realizing his precision, she rethinks her strategy. He reads movement, not magic. She readies a feint. Dashing close, she throws a right punch, but lands a surprise left straight to his chest. The impact shatters the barrier. She panics again. They've broken the match's boundary field unintentionally. Frustrated by his evasive tactics, she challenges him directly, demanding a serious fight at last. Elsewhere, observers react with alarm. Edgar activates support magic, enhancing his mobility for counteraction. Confident and calm, Edgar taunts her to land a single hit, gesturing with a smirk. Determined, she responds with a plan. If he insists on evasion, she'll overwhelm him with offense. Launching herself forward, she executes a surprise flying kick technique, aiming directly for Edgar's midsection. Her spinning kick strikes forcefully, speed and power combine. But her target isn't quite what it seems. The impact hits a dummy target again. She realizes too late. Another illusion fooled her completely. He claps with a cheerful grin, praising her unexpected strength and footwork with exaggerated admiration. Then, to her shock, he suddenly surrenders, admitting defeat before she can even process the outcome. He concedes honestly, worn out. Low on stamina and mana, he accepts defeat with a smile. He confirms his withdrawal, admitting he couldn't accept a victory gained through deception or unfair magic. With no fighters left to continue, the match is declared over. Victory goes to Tina's class. Surprised by the result, she questions his decision. He smiles, saying the battle was enjoyable. She hides her frustration behind clenched teeth, pride stung by an opponent who surrendered without finishing. Despite missing their turn, the classmates reassure their teacher, proud that the team still triumphs together. Haruto admits his doubts, unsure if he could have defeated Edgar despite wanting to test spells. The instructor furiously confronts Edgar, furious over his recklessness and shocked that he's still alive. As punishment is threatened, a new character appears, confident and composed, interrupting with sharp legal authority. The secretary reveals a recorded video, calmly suggesting the instructor take a look before acting rashly. The footage clearly exposes the instructor's dishonest actions during the match, leaving no room for denial. Rain calmly warns the instructor not to shift blame or ruin Edgar's reputation after being exposed. Despite Rain's help, he reminds Edgar with a grin favors don't mean he owes him anything. Curious eyes follow Rain's exit. Someone recognizes him, recalling the flashy hair from the entrance ceremony. Rain is formally introduced, student council president and the academy's strongest. His presence radiates status and power, inspired yet anxious. They wonder aloud, could first years like them ever defeat Rain's elite senior class? Excited by the challenge ahead, she commits, eager to fight and lead the team again. Their morale rises. With determination and teamwork, they vow to train harder and push beyond limits. As Haruto steps forward confidently, Rook reflects in silence, feeling left behind, unsure of his place. Melody slumped on her desk, exhausted from non-stop battles and relentless academy training drills. Luna greeted Melody warmly, offering a surprise gift she had prepared for the entire class. When Luna mentioned Valentine's chocolates, Melody panicked, realizing she had completely overlooked the occasion. In Grandeel, women gift chocolates in February. Melody forgot this vital tradition entirely. Still reeling, Melody spiraled into regret, overwhelmed by imported customs from otherworldly summoned heroes. Summoning her courage, Luna handed chocolate to Haruto, hiding her true feelings behind a smile. Haruto gratefully accepted the chocolate, surprised by her generosity and Luna's request to keep it private. Luna nervously approached Mai and May, offering chocolate despite their unreadable and silent expressions. The twins accepted politely but were confused, unaware of what Valentine's Day truly meant. Haruto quietly observed their reaction. Their weightless bodies and detachment hinted they weren't ordinary students or even human. Haruto grew curious. May remained cold and distant, while May seemed torn between honesty and duty. Tina, sensei, entered the classroom cheerfully, sensing the students' excitement from the festive atmosphere inside. Tina revealed a beautifully decorated chocolate cake, asking for help serving it to the class. Melody burst in presenting drinkable hot chocolate with pride, clearly recovered from her earlier gloom. Luna eagerly joined in, helping Melody distribute drinks that perfectly complemented Tina's elegant dessert. Lifa found a gold coin hidden in the cake, earning everyone's cheerful congratulations and surprise. Overwhelmed by emotion, Lafa pledged to cherish Tina's gift as a lucky omen. Students reflected on Valentine's Day. An imported tradition turned into a heartfelt bonding ritual for friends and loved ones. As celebrations wound down, Haruto froze mid-step, struck by a nagging, forgotten obligation. Haruto lamented being overlooked by Tina, once his regular giver. Now, strangely distant this year, Haruto reasoned Tina must be planning something. After all, they were already romantically involved. Night arrived with no surprises. Haruto, puzzled and in pajamas, sat alone in disappointment. Tina knocked gently, apologizing for her delay. She had prepared a secret technique for him. Tina nervously explained a tradition involving body chocolate, blushing from the romantic meaning it carried. Tina shyly reminded Haruto this was their first Valentine's as a couple, making it special and personal. Blushing and trembling, Tina asked Haruto if her heartfelt effort had pleased him enough. Haruto, flustered but smiling, praised her enthusiastically, grateful for the old hero's ridiculous traditions. Relieved and proud, Tina invited Haruto to indulge, despite her overwhelming nervousness and pounding heart. Haruto leaned in without hesitation. Tina trembled as he began tasting the chocolate from her body. As Haruto continued, Tina flinched in surprise, experiencing unfamiliar, intense sensations that left her speechless. Yuiko rushed in, proudly announcing her chocolate dumplings, unaware of the romance already underway. With chocolate smeared across her face, Yuko demanded gratitude, offering her handmade treats without hesitation. Tina and Haruto's moment was cut short. Yuko barged in declaring discipline, leaving everyone flustered and panicked. At night in the dorms, Luna stares perplexed, no options left with her black piece. She panics slightly, the boards completely white, a rare sight even during mid-game. Luna realizes she's completely outplayed. Melody, calm and smiling, praises her with cheerful support. Determined to improve, Luna declares a rematch. She studies past losses, planning her comeback silently. Later, Luna reflects she only wanted to cheer Melody up but took the game seriously. Haruto tries soothing the group. Melody mumbles regrets while Luna quietly thanks him for understanding. Luna excels at both magic and studies. In contrast, Ryushin and Melody struggle academically. Haruto reflects silently, realizing how unusual and disproportionate this class truly is in every way. Meanwhile, the student council discusses the odd first years, noting their chaotic yet fascinating composition and behavior. They list each member's feats, top-tier spells, superior combat, hybrid techniques, highlighting the class's overwhelming, unmatched talent. In the student council office, strange traits of the first-year class are being discussed earnestly. The council notes Tina Haribel's students are not only powerful, but increasingly unpredictable and intriguing. They plan further investigation. Meanwhile, toys and sweets collected are destined for an orphanage donation. Outside, a cheerful girl clings to Haruto, revealing she's a demon servant pledged to him. She's level 99, bound by status and loyalty, but promises to behave for her lord. Yuko calmly reveals her terrifying specialty, mind control magic capable of controlling anyone below her level. Fortunately, others like Ryushin and the elf are powerful, both boasting levels over 101. Student realizes she's likely already brainwashed. She's level 80, well below Yuko's overwhelming strength. Students begin sharing levels. Most range around 60, close to each other but still vulnerable. Melody admits she's only level 52. Haruto listens quietly, increasingly anxious about his own ranking. Luna is praised by peers despite being a support, her growth and dedication shining brightly, grateful and smiling. Luna thanks everyone. Behind her, Haruto awkwardly conceals his true level. 1. Encouraged by others, Haruto wonders if he must disclose his cursed level to everyone now. He hesitates, knowing the time has come. Even Tina doesn't know his painful secret yet. With resolve, Haruto speaks up, ready to reveal the truth behind his concealed power level. Just as Haruto prepares to reveal everything, a classmate bluntly asks him not to. Reflecting on strength, Ryushin admits Haruto's training lineage makes him stronger than he initially thought. Ryushin fears knowing Haruto's actual level, afraid the difference might mentally crush his own confidence. Haruto panics. His actual status level 1 is nothing like what everyone keeps assuming or imagining. To his relief, the others decide not to look, fearing demotivation or disappointment. Students arrive at Hagan Forest, a dangerous training zone typically reserved for upperclassmen monster battles. Luna hesitates, unsure of her combat utility. Others propose forming pairs for safety and balance. Pairs quickly form. Luna teams up, Melody partners with Crucia, and excitement begins to build. Even the reserved twins join. Haruto gets paired with Yuko, who holds tightly as usual. With everyone assembled, the instructor announces training begins. Monster combat in the forest is officially underway. Tina instructs everyone to stay safe, handing out magical whistles in case of emergency trouble. Each student receives a bracelet designed to record monster kills and their matching difficulty ranks. A hidden listener confronts them playfully, realizing the group turned training into a friendly competition. Haruto teases Tina about orchestrating the contest. She admits she expected the challenge to excite them. Tina explains level gains aren't the goal instead. Teamwork and experience matter most before noon's deadline. Tina claps with a bright smile, officially signaling the start of the forest training challenge. With fierce enthusiasm, Ryushin and others dash forward. Monster combat training in Haganen Forest has begun. Yuko noticed they were distant from the others and inquired how to manage monsters. The group debated mind control magic's boundaries while searching for intelligent monsters they could tame safely. The young sorcerer stepped forward, determined to settle things quickly by using his own strength. With poise control, he summoned multiple fireballs, stunning his allies with their scale and beauty. He upgraded the fireballs further, blending elements, gradually shaping the magic into something much grander. A strange creature begins developing part horse, part armored knight, leaving Yuko shocked by the transformation. Layers of lightning magic are utilized to strengthen the armor's defensive properties even further. To maximize damage, wind magic is infused into the spear, enabling lethal piercing force. The final shape emerges a centaur warrior wielding elemental power, proudly named Fire Lance Special Edition. Yuko recognizes it as Flame Knight, a high-tier spell, while the caster awkwardly denies the claim. The mage cheerfully sends his 2 magic summons to fight while they question their power level. Yuko worries about his state after casting strong spells, but he casually defends the Fire Lance name. She offers her mana tenderly, making things awkward with her overly dramatic, love-filled presentation. Suddenly, an instructor's voice scolds her, reminding everyone they're still participating in a class exercise. The instructor warns about improper behavior, while Yuko vents frustration over being constantly stopped from flirting. Yuko is threatened with being banned from dinner if she removes her bracelet during class. Devastated, Yuko mourns missing Tina's cooking, while another student awkwardly sketches a diagram of events. Two classmates reflect on Haruto's awkward charm, realizing he's blind to the feelings around him. One girl is flustered by the reality her crush on Haruto is plainly obvious to everyone. She opens up softly, grateful he approached her, and recalls Haruto's past kindness at the ceremony. She admits she wanted to offer chocolates too, leaving Haruto overwhelmed by the double Valentine's attention. A wolf appears in the woods, prompting caution despite reports of harmless monsters in this zone. They observe the wolf calmly, assuming it's a replica meant for class, not real danger. Suspicious of its behavior, she commands a speed boost, sensing something wrong about the creature. The wolves charge forward, but their motion slows, revealing an unusual anomaly affecting their movement patterns. The wolf strikes fiercely. Rook blocks the hit, warning Luna to brace for a direct impact. A massive explosion erupts, shaking the area violently as the battle intensifies without warning. They stand ready, relieved they landed a hit, yet remain cautious as a cyclone clears the air. From the forest shadows, glowing eyes emerge, signaling a new threat silently closing in magic. Resistant monsters appear bison, like beasts controlled by hidden gnomes, escalating the situation into a far greater danger. Luna worries as Rook notes, the wolves seem strange, and now even more beasts appear. Melody rushes in and Lifa prepares to strike, prompting others to call for restraint mid-battle. Lifa is thanked for her risky bait role, though clearly uneasy about the chaotic situation. As they regroup, they realize they're now surrounded by an overwhelming number of forest creatures. Suddenly, shadowy flying monsters descend dark shapes that signal the arrival of an even deadlier threat. Ryushin charges in with wild energy, fearlessly launching himself at a swarm of giant scorpions. He smashes one to the ground, overwhelming it with raw force and an explosive battle cry. Proud of the victory, Ryushin jokes about cooking the monster, grossing out his unimpressed partner completely. Surrounded by insect remains, she reflects on their relentless class constant attacks, turning learning into survival. She dryly teases Ryushin about his grades, prompting his loud, embarrassed outburst in classic comedic fashion. Aya girl senses a disturbance in the wind, her expression uneasy as leaves swirl around her. Her friend notices and asks what's wrong. She hesitates, unsure how to explain the eerie feeling. It's not a monster's aura, it feels like Ifrit Sama's, but darker and more oppressive in nature. Despite disbelief, she insists the aura feels even stronger, and Ifrit Sama shouldn't be anywhere nearby. Meanwhile, the teacher monitoring the field realizes something's wrong. Monster behavior patterns are becoming unnaturally erratic. The teacher begins to suspect interference from outside forces may be disrupting the simulation boundaries. Wolves gather once more. May and May tense up as the creatures act with unnatural precision. One wolf looks skyward toward a distant magical crest floating far above the forest canopy. A mysterious girl in ceremonial robes hovers midair, calmly sensing the mana of her target. With a cryptic smile, she confirms their location, foreshadowing her descent and the coming confrontation. The girl questions the evil god's hex, how someone cursed could still grow stronger in battle. The evil god, partly hidden behind a throne, confesses he used immense mana to curse the target. Anxious about his own lifespan, he orders a Shikigami to retrieve a suitable substitute curse. A narration reflects, champions from other worlds receive divine blessings, even from deities like the Evil One. In the Library of Curses, the girl searches, aiming for a spell that weakens yet prevents death entirely. She summons multiple Shikigami helpers. Realizing the curse archives are too immense to search alone, surrounded by flying volumes and avatars, she grumbles at the evil god's bloated curse collection. Own curse is presented, a petrification of status seemingly basic, but intriguing in its potential cruelty. She reveals it's from a concealed shelf meant to trap a soul forever at level 1. Laughing, they enjoy the cruel irony, granting hope through reincarnation, only to crush it with permanent stagnation. The evil god's intent was to limit stats, but the curse instead froze growth completely. Originally meant for a servant, the spell permitted infinite mana yet capped it at a fixed limit. That ritual depleted the evil god's power, forcing him into a long recovery sleep afterward. Meanwhile, the girl tries tracking a vital reincarnated soul, but he's completely vanished from her radar, puzzled and annoyed. She wonders if obstructions are blocking her technique or if too many decades passed. A mysterious girl detects energy from afar. Her orb reveals activity within a distant forest. Students resting after training are warned forest beasts have gone berserk. Class is cancelled immediately. A powerful mage steps forward, isolating herself. She prepares potent spells, warning others to stand back. The cloaked girl confronts the mage directly. Quiet tension rises as power radiates from both sides. The mage demands explanations. Something is affecting monsters, and this strange girl might be the cause. Sensing a divine threat, the girl declares the mage is linked to an evil god. Suddenly, her expression changes. She is startled by the mage stepping forward without hesitation or fear. The mage charges, confronting the girl midair, accusing her of controlling the rampaging forest beasts. With fiery determination, the mage grabs her and shouts her intent to eliminate the threat. A massive explosion erupts between them, the air shattering from unleashed magical power and aggression. An enormous blast erupts in the sky. Students panic. The mage realizes her spell failed. Through the smoke, the mysterious girl appears unharmed, amused, surprised, but not angered by the assault. The mage lifts her hand again. Magic circles activate. She's finished holding back this time. With fury and force, she chants the spell invoking divine wrath. Thor's hammer strikes again, trapped midair by lightning. The girl panics. She insists she didn't manipulate any monsters. The mage descends swiftly, landing with control. Her eyes stay fixed on the retreating figure above. The girl floats back, vines curling unnaturally. She questions if her presence sparked the corruption. Realizing unfinished business, she steadies herself. She can't vanish now, not with questions left unanswered. A massive spell erupts beneath her. She braces herself, trying to evade the impact's power. As she prepares to react, the mage lunges from behind, aiming to strike without delay. The girl flees as the mage pursues. She cries out, overwhelmed by the sudden attack. While escaping, she reflects. Her proximity to the evil god might draw divine retribution soon. Glancing downward, she spots someone familiar. Recognition strikes. This person is important to what happens next. She gently clings to the mage, smiling. A cryptic comment hints at deeper anxiety. With a warm smile, she makes a final request, asking the mage to shield him. The mage hears the girl's final words, parting gift, before something ominous begins to unfold suddenly. A surge of power erupts. The girl vanishes in light, leaving the mage shocked, shouting. A monstrous hand strikes from the aftermath, catching the mage off guard and halting her breath. A grotesque creature emerges mid-air, dragging the mage down. She panics. Collision with the ground is inevitable. On the ground, a student cries out in horror, Professor Tina. Watching the chaos above unfold, two students spot the falling figure. One gasps, shocked and confused. Is that Tina? The boy panics, recognizing her instantly. He calls her name, powerless to help from below. A powerful warrior intercepts the enemy midair. He lunges forward and commands, "Release her." Now, with fierce eyes and a clenched fist, he growls, "You monster." A new fight is coming. A strange warrior descends from the sky, intercepting the girl's attacker with overwhelming speed and power. Midair, he grips her hair to halt momentum, watching her reaction with cold precision. Recognizing a threat nearby, he shouts to his ally, then delivers a ruthless blow downward. Lefa watches the takedown unfold, relieved yet irritated at his reckless handling of the situation. Melody dashes forward to secure the falling girl, as Lefa shouts urgent instructions from behind. Melody leaps through the trees, accelerating downward, arms ready to snatch the falling unconscious girl. She grabs the girl midair, using her body to cushion the landing without delay. Melody rushes over, cradling the girl. Ryuka and Tina arrive, reacting to her fading state. Tina attempts to heal her, but stops suddenly, noticing something strange about the girl's condition. Tina shouts a warning too late. The attacker used poison. Its effects are already spreading rapidly. Ryushin observes the unconscious teacher, realizing the masked creature's poison caused her sudden collapse. Luna activates multiple buffs and barriers, shielding Ryushin, while boosting his speed and resistance. Empowered and smiling, Ryushin calls out to Luna, acknowledging her flawless timing and support. Facing the enemy again, Ryushin adjusts tactics, choosing ranged attacks while preparing for close combat fallback. Later, Tina wakes in bed, ashamed of fainting. Her friends quickly reassure her with empathy. Tina recalls Haruito's words, Ryushin isn't weak, just outmatched by Edgar's greater experience. She's surprised a human, praised a dragonkin's strength, but his sincerity makes her warmly smile. Ryushin charges forward again, determined to fight despite the odds. He unleashes a desperate dragon claw. The enemy counters fiercely. A blast tears across the battlefield, forcing allies into defensive stances, watching closely. The girl recognizes Ryushin's power, but senses his opponent's strength might still surpass his. Though supported by Luna, Ryushin warns against negligence. He urges evacuation as enemies re-emerge from underground. A sudden warning erupts. Ryushin turns too late, caught unaware by a threat closing from the rear. Claws and rubble rush past, Impact unseen but fatal. A figure charges through debris to protect. The group regathers fast. Melody carries Tina as magical shockwaves scatter dust across the ravaged battlefield. With calm certainty, the girl identifies the attacker. Her eyes narrow. There's no error this time. The monster steps forward. Its grotesque grin and claws confirm one thing. It's a genuine fiend. Acting fast, the mage casts Sandbind, trapping the fiend in place with magical restraints. Despite the chains, mana flares wildly. Ryushin's ally shouts urgently, pleading with him to retreat immediately. Ryushin refuses. Knowing Dragon Morph causes temporary stasis, he chooses to delay the fiend himself, from afar. Two students watch the chaos, realizing the fiend substituted the previous red-cloaked enemy suddenly. From a distance, Mai and Mai quietly watch the chaos, choosing not to intervene yet. Maya questions herself softly if Haruto fails here. Is she truly worthy to support him? Her companion answers coldly. No point forming a bond with someone unable to endure real danger. Maya hesitates, but realization strikes. Her resolve hardens. Haruito's strength matters, but her choice matters more. Mei stared silently, hands clutched. Heart moves still addressing him as Haruto. Sama, despite everything. Since Haruto's destructive training session destroyed the grounds, tension between students has only grown worse. One student, captivated by his mana, now dreams of forming a contract with Haruto-sama herself. Rumors spread, even Yuko-san, with pride and power, willingly made a pact under his strength. Now wielding scorching flames with ease, Haruto's unmatched strength made his presence impossible to ignore. Mary, determined and hopeful, declared she'd become incredible if she could earn Haruto's sacred covenant. Mei, more reserved, reminded Mei she'd never contracted before. Still, she gently apologized for her intensity. Mei reassured her sister, placing a hand gently this time. She wanted the choice to be mutual. Though Mai always clung to her, Mai wished they'd find different mages even if it hurt. A little glum, Mai still smiled, grateful her sister might finally grow as her own person. Though hesitant, Mai sensed looming danger, deciding they must help if others faced real threat. Excited by Mei's resolve, Mei clenched her fists, ready to face danger and move forward. The wolves barked sharply. Mei froze, realizing the overwhelming mana-matched Ifrit, Sama's terrifying intensity. Though unfamiliar with flames, Mei recognized the approaching aura, dark, intense, and frighteningly close. Now a knight cloaked in flames emerged. Mei, dumbfounded, admired its terrifying yet beautiful, perfectly pure fire. A strange, radiant figure vanished into the woods, leaving both girls startled and deeply curious. Without hesitation, Mai grabbed Mei's hand, her eyes glowing with determination, ready to chase the unknown. Certain it was Haruto's magic, Mei charged forward, determined to offer him her mystical contract. Watching Mei run ahead, Mei stood frozen, uncertain, overwhelmed by silent emotions stirring deep within. If Haruto were a water magician, Mei could stay with Mei indefinitely, or so she thought. Though she wished for independence, Mei realized she was the one clinging, unable to let go. A quiet rustle swept the trees, signaling something unnatural was moving secretly through the woods. Caught off guard, the dragon warrior reeled. Someone pierced his scaled skin, which should have been invincible. With a wicked grin, the masked attacker lunged, too fast, too vicious, even for dragon reflexes. A brutal slash tore the air, splattering black with force, speed, and terrifying accuracy. A severed hand flew skyward. Panic erupted as she screamed Ryushin's name in rising dread. Ryushin dropped to one knee, wounded and breathless, his fierce pride shaken by that brutal strike. Straining to stay upright, Ryushin muttered grimly that the monster's attacks were laced with deadly poison. A young mage stepped forward, eyes locked, conjuring energy. He summoned a radiant whip of light. As the whip snapped through the air, a voice shouted, "Haruto!" calling him into the fray. Cornered and overwhelmed, the group panicked. Someone had to act, or they would all die together. Rook hesitated under pressure, but his comrade's shout forced a choice, no more holding back. Now suddenly, glowing glyphs encircled the enemy's feet. An unknown spell had silently taken form beneath him. Ice erupted upward, locking the monster's legs. An offensive spell had finally landed, stopping its movement. Mei's eyes widened, her flaming horse vanished unexpectedly, just as Mei shouted and danger grew closer. As blazing hooves touched earth, Mei gasped with delight. Haruto confirmed it. The summon had arrived. The summoned knight raised its flaming halberd, its presence radiating power, poised for immediate combat. With one mighty thrust, the knight struck the masked fiend, who snarled and reeled in pain. Shocked by the knight's force, allies questioned, was this powerful creature truly fighting for them? The knight lunged again, Unrelenting, its burning strikes tearing into the monster with mechanical righteous fury. With a final strike, the knight shattered the fiend's flaming core. Its body collapsed violently backward. But even as the core vanished, the fiend's body twitched, regrowing itself with unnatural persistence. Haruto and his allies realized grimly this monster could regenerate endlessly unless its core stayed destroyed. Tina collapsed into support, wounded but alert, still trying to help despite her fading strength. Yuko summoned twin tails of flame, admitting she'd barely stored enough power for a full-scale attack. For the sake of her master, Yuko vowed to release every drop of stored mana. With confidence, Yuko formed a magical barrier, entrusting Haruto to finish the battle inside it. Surrounded by trust, Haruto received permission, no more restraint. Now, he could unleash his full magic. A comrade urged caution. The fiend resisted ordinary magic. Haruto needed something beyond standard destructive spells. The fiend's regenerative power and devastating potential meant one truth. It could destroy nations by itself. To finally end the fiend, they must unleash thermal magic strong enough to burn its core. Determined, she urged Haruto to unleash everything. Only overwhelming force could protect them all now. Haruto's eyes sharpened. Understanding the weight of her plea, he prepared to take on the responsibility. Remembering earlier mistakes, Haruto readied his magic, committing to control, yet resolved to give his all. With fiery determination, Haruto shouted his resolve. Power surged from both hands, shaking the battlefield's air, channeling immense heat. Haruto cast Fire Lance, determined to pierce the fiend's core without delay. A secluded shrine stood sealed, guarding the slumbering evil god beneath ancient sacred grounds. Descending swiftly from the sky, the shrine maiden returned alone after completing her regular duties. She resumed her daily routine, sweeping dust, fixing damage, and wandering through the shrine's empty silence. While walking, she calculated dark energy flow and brainstormed designs for the next fiend lord standing before the throne. She muttered the truth. Every burden here was hers alone to bear. She admired the sleeping god amassing power endlessly while she toiled alone through centuries. Suddenly, sensing imbalance, she examined her hand. Dark particles hinted at unstable magical forces awakening. Excitement from briefly leaving the shrine had triggered accidental use of her sealed fiend magic elsewhere. A young warrior countered the awakening fiend, channeling power with grim resolve and precision. He fought fiercely, determined not only to destroy the monster, but to protect her too. The warrior sensed residual power in the crater, evidence someone strong had intervened before his attack. Though the fiend was destroyed, its magic sparked wildfire flames, now consuming the surrounding forest rapidly. The group gathered under a weakening barrier, urgently discussing ways to stop the raging fire. He took the lead, casting layered spells small in scale, but together strong enough to extinguish it. He calmly explained his secret, cursed by the evil god. He was unable to cast large-scale magic. To bypass his manacap, he split energy into clusters, shaping them into distinct commands. Using those clusters, he constructed a massive incantation circle, surprising his allies with precise complexity, though it seemed advanced. He clarified this was beginner magic, crafted cleverly under heavy limitations. Others watched in awe and confusion, unsure what kind of incantation he was preparing next. The result was stunning. He summoned Undine, a mighty water spirit, to quench the furious blaze. Undine recognized Haruto, her voice gentle. Years had passed since their last magical encounter together. They exchanged warm greetings, catching up quickly, while others watched the unexpected reunion with growing confusion. Undine noticed familiar faces, Mai and May, and asked if they had been doing well recently. As May replied nervously, Undine inquired about her progress toward establishing a spirit contract. Haruto reminded them of the burning forest. Now wasn't the time for idle conversation or nostalgia. Shocked by Haruto's true bond, May hesitated but agreed to assist, her powers quietly stirring within. Haruto swiftly directs Lifa to duplicate her previous magic, while he prepares synchronized water magic. Lifa acknowledges Haruto's strategy. Meanwhile, Yuko struggles to uphold the magical barrier under immense pressure. With determination in his eyes, Haruto calls forth Undine, starting the spell to release water. Haruto and Undine cast Water Lance, launching a potent stream upward to counter the blazing threat. Lifa channels her energy, cutting through the chaos, spreading the water attack with sharp accuracy. Lifa unleashes a spiraling wind blast, dispersing flames and neutralizing the surging heat bursts. Despite their endeavors, the inferno intensifies, forcing Undine to prepare a broader weather-based solution. The twins, Mai and May, are called upon to attempt their long-practiced synchronized magic. With synchronized movement and quiet resolve, they cast Icicle Ballad, summoning sharp crystalline spears mid-air. Mai initiates the spell's next phase, raising freezing energy as floating ice collects above them. The twin spell thickens the atmosphere with cold mist, summoning more ice into the clouds. Exhausted, Mai collapses. Mai asks Haruto to generate heat for finalizing their rain formation plan. Realizing their strategy, Haruto prepares magic, but hesitates since he still must maintain the ongoing water assault. To multitask, Haruto summons Ifrit, a fiery spirit, to warm clouds while he attacks below. The girls panic at Ifrit's sudden arrival, shocked by Haruto's bold mid-battle summon strategy. The twins are overwhelmed, realizing Haruto formed a pact with the potent fire spirit Ifrit. Stunned by Ifrit's presence, Mei becomes emotional, suddenly declaring her love for Haruto out loud. Mei gently responds, revealing she understands Mei's feelings even if it risks damaging their bond. Shocked, Mei questions Mei's words, surprised to hear her utter Haruto's name with sincere reverence. Mei looks up into the pouring rain, quietly confirming her words with calm and determination. Rain pours down as Mei enjoys the sensation. While Mei complains loudly about being drenched, Mei smiles quietly, thinking of Haruto. She vows to reclaim her true self someday. Elsewhere, news spreads rapidly as a mysterious incident in the forest sparks a serious investigation. Student President Rain discusses the threat a fiend had infiltrated a secured training ground. Scribe Connie confirms the affected class was Tina's, prompting emergency measures and class suspension. The academy confirms no casualties. Attention shifts to identifying who defeated the powerful fiend threat. Connie reveals it wasn't Tina who delivered the final blow, but an unknown student. Haruto is identified as the third son of the Silverlay family, already infamous for destructive magical incidents. Haruto appears before the principal, who is curious about his identity and family background. The principal confirms Haruto's identity, then expresses quiet relief that Tina has recovered safely. The principal reveals that Rook speaks often of Haruto, showing unexpected admiration and familial connection. Haruto learns he inspired Rook to improve, motivating him where talent alone never had sufficed. They shake hands warmly. Haruto responds humbly while the principal silently senses Haruto's scarce mana. Surprised, the principal notices Haruto's mana feels like that of a mere level. One magician, a sharp rebuttal, interrupts. Someone defends Haruto's strength, questioning whether the principal should apologize for underestimating him. Haruto accepts the situation. Calmly, the principal apologizes, realizing he may have overstepped boundaries. Haruto requests secrecy, preparing to disclose something sensitive, while Tina listens in with growing curiosity. The principal assures confidentiality, honoring Haruto's request and affirming respect for student diversity within the academy. Haruto opens his status screen without hesitation, revealing his true magical level for the first time. Everyone is shocked. Tina stares in disbelief, realizing Haruto's actual level is really just 1. Tina realizes Haruto's limited magic stems from something deeper, an abnormal condition in his status. The principal identifies a rare status petrification curse, suspecting it to be Haruto's guarded secret. Haruto explains he was cursed during reincarnation by an evil god, sealing away his strength. Everyone is stunned by the revelation. The chapter ends with the mystery of the curse. Tina discovered the dark god's existence, source of despair, fear, and the Demon King's resurrection. Matthias revealed the god forced him to stay passive, concealing the truth from Tina, until now. He believed the curse was defective. His combat accomplishments proved the evil god's judgment was mistaken. Seeking to validate his theory, Matthias requested to cast magic, highlighting his unusual mana value. Despite being level 1, Matthias unleashed a potent fire lance spell, stunning everyone with its power. Matthias revealed his mana never dropped, regardless of how much magic he cast in battle. He theorized the curse was flawed, likely a miscalculation that accidentally granted limitless magical stamina. The Elder and Fiend questioned his power, puzzled how he defeated monsters with overwhelming might. Without hesitation, Matthias demonstrated casting multiple fire spells simultaneously without anxiety for mana cost or limits. He explained his strategy, spamming low cost fire and dark spells, then merging them to enhance power. Matthias revealed he once stacked 50,000 fire lances, astonishing the others with chantless magic. Tina downplayed the incident, joking a rock took the impact instead of her body. The professor acknowledged Matthias's otherworldly origin, accepting his overwhelming power wasn't from this world. Despite his amazement, the professor requested moderation. Matthias casually agreed with a bright and innocent smile. Tina rejoined Matthias after speaking privately, slightly tired but grateful he had patiently waited for her. Tina explained the principal's backing, though mainly to prevent Haruto endangering the entire school. Suddenly, Tina apologized, sincerely ashamed she hadn't noticed Haruto's painful curse, despite being constantly beside him. Regret filled her voice, blaming her helplessness for overlooking his silent suffering and magical burden. Haruto reassured her warmly, crediting her teachings for helping him endure and grow through adversity. Thanks to her guidance, he mastered rapid spellcasting and combining magic beyond normal expectations. Haruto asked Tina to keep guiding him, grateful for her presence and trusting in her. Tina accepted with a blush, while others observed their growing closeness from a distance with curiosity. Even the legendary hero Tina, who once battled dragons, smiled bashfully beside the cheerful Haruto. Unseen, a mysterious stuffed rabbit observed the pair, quietly repeating Haruto's name in curiosity. The next day, while Haruto relaxed peacefully, two unfamiliar girls approached with a formal request. Haruto followed the girls, puzzled by their formality and request for a more private spot. He agreed hesitantly, surprised by their tone. His thoughts spiraled into imagining an unexpected love confession. Suddenly, both girls began undressing, leaving Haruto shocked and confused by their strange, unexplained behavior. They addressed Haruto solemnly, glowing with light, as their forms started transforming before his eyes. Revealed as mystical beings, wings unfurled and magic surged, something divine stirred within the summoning ritual. The twins revealed their true identities, mystical spirit beings disguised in human form until now. Haruto, surprised, confirmed their nature as spirits trying to grasp the situation with growing confusion. Despite their serious tone, Haruto's thoughts drifted, embarrassed by their revealing appearance and sudden transformation. He struggled to respond properly, torn between respect and the awkwardness of their close, exposed proximity. A new spirit, Undyne, appeared gracefully, confirming the twins' connection to her as fellow elemental spirits. The twin spirits asked Haruto to become their contractor, offering loyalty in exchange for connection. To his surprise, their request was a playful confession adoring his limitless mana pool. Flustered, Haruto admitted their affection was mana-based, but quietly appreciated Tina's constant emotional support. Grateful and impressed by their power, Haruto accepted them as spirits, formally establishing a new bond. With smiles and elegance, the spirits excused themselves, mission complete, leaving Haruto with strengthened allies. As a sign of contract, both spirits kissed Haruto, gently sealing their mystical bond. Moments later, their glowing figures vanished, leaving Haruto alone. Touched by the sudden quiet and light, he realized they returned to the spirit world, now awaiting future summons through his magic. While preparing the ritual, Haruto envisioned sharing school life with them, not just battle, but friendship. Recalling their light aura, Haruto crafted a chant, hoping to summon both with lightning magic. Haruto activated the summoning circle, but something unexpected began to materialize from the swirling light. Instead of the twin spirits, a massive figure emerged, leaving Haruto utterly confused and wary. A muscular man appeared before him. Haruto panicked, questioning if he summoned their father by accident. The Spirit King materialized before them, declaring his divine identity with immense authority and a glowing presence. Haruto stood shocked, unable to grasp why royalty from another realm had suddenly appeared. Introducing himself briefly, Haruto noticed Mai and Mai had strangely merged into one magical being. The Spirit King explained he governed all planetary spirits and welcomed Haruto as an honored guest. Still perplexed, Haruto's innocent reaction revealed this was his first time witnessing a spirit's true form. Haruto asked casually, unaware he'd summoned a being too immense to dismiss without consequence. Shocked, the Spirit King revealed Haruto's magical power had accidentally placed him under human control. Haruto confessed he miscalculated the summoning circle, unintentionally binding a god-tier spirit to his will. Respectfully, the Spirit King requested release, mentioning pressing matters involving his daughters in the spirit realm. Moved by humility, Haruto agreed, prompting the Spirit King to instantly initiate the spirit world transfer ritual. Floating in silence, Haruto suddenly recalled an event from years ago that began everything. Back then, Haruto attempted his first summoning, hoping for a powerful fire-type contract spirit. To everyone's shock, he summoned Ifrit, the Spirit King of Fire, on his initial try. The Maid was stunned. Even veteran summoners rarely succeeded in calling such a high-tier being. With a cheerful smile, Haruto formed a contract, beginning a lifelong bond with the mighty Ifrit. With applause and a kiss from Ifrit, Haruto's first spirit contract was officially finalized. Haruto remembered a similar moment with Undyne, another spirit who affectionately embraced him back. Since then, Undyne had grown fond of Haruto, while Tina watched quietly with mixed emotions. The Star Spirit King said farewell and departed, leaving Haruto stunned by his magical dominance. Encouraged by success, Haruto declared he'd summon Mai and Mai properly, one after the other. Haruto carefully adjusted the circle and envisioned Mai's form, calling her with fierce resolve. The summoning succeeded. Mai appeared gracefully, but her fiery arrival unleashed wild spiritual energy. Wings spread wide, Mai emerged fully awakened, joyfully shouting Haruto's name with radiant energy. Overwhelmed by emotion, Mai flew into Haruto's arms, confessing her love with sparkles everywhere. Suddenly, a booming voice challenged Haruto, demanding to know who dared contract Mai, the fire spirit. The Star Spirit King confronted Haruto, demanding proof of strength before accepting the spirit contract. Haruto and Mai stared blankly, unsure how to reply to the abrupt challenge from him. Realizing the demand, Haruto fired back, proposing to prove his strength by forcing the king to kneel. Haruto lunged confidently, mimicking the king's own words, catching him off guard and provoking a comical reversal. Embarrassed, the Spirit King protested loudly, furious about being humiliated in front of his own daughter. Haruto asked if he was worthy. The Spirit King paused and affirmed him without hesitation. He explained Haruto's ability to summon spirits alone proved his exceptional strength and spiritual resonance. With a serious expression, the Spirit King acknowledged Haruto's rare and immense magical power. Haruto respectfully asked if the Spirit King had any conditions regarding their bond. Blushing, the Spirit King revealed his daughters Mai and Mai were his most precious treasures. The Spirit King requested one promise: Haruto must never force his daughters into dangerous combat. Haruto pledged to protect them and request the king's help only when truly necessary. To prepare for emergencies, Haruto infused the king with advanced mana for instant future summons. Amazed, the king realized Haruto could still supply magic even after a taxing spirit summoning. Surrounded by his spirits, Haruto left the king speechless, his true identity now a total mystery. That night, Tina was startled awake by Haruto's loud and unexpected shout from upstairs. Panicked, she rushed toward Haruto's room, calling his name and bursting through the door. She stopped mid-sentence, finding him collapsed and surrounded by scattered clothes and steam. Lifting suspicious garments, Tina demanded an explanation with a look that burned hotter than fire. Caught between May, and another girl, Haruto panicked, insisting it wasn't what it looked like. Tina repeated Haruto's excuse coldly, her tone flat but laced with unmistakable anger underneath. Holding underwear with a terrifying smile, Tina asked what this looked like exactly. Haruto found himself unexpectedly in the tub with Mai, and the playful Yuko amid. Awkward closeness, the girls sensed tension. Mai clung to Haruto, seeking comfort and warmth. Yuko joined in dramatically, pretending to be frightened, clinging tightly to Haruto's dazed head. Overwhelmed but honest, Haruto tried resisting temptation, though he admitted the moment felt incredible. Then he sensed doom. Tina had arrived, her intense expression promising divine judgment. Haruto, still oblivious, cheerfully asked Tina to join him and the girls in the bath. To everyone's surprise, Tina softly agreed, casually removing her undergarments with alarming calm. But then her calm cracked. Her face flushed as emotion overwhelmed her in stunned silence. Snapping, Tina shouted she was fine, hurling her clothes in anger before storming away. Left stunned, Haruto sat silently between Mai and Mai, unsure whether he'd survived or lost out. Haruto questioned why Tina rejected bathing despite already sleeping beside him several nights. Yuko boasted confidently, proud of her body and charm despite her youthful, fox-like appearance. Haruto, caught between the flattery, awkwardly agreed Mai and Madi were stunning on their own. He tried to defend his actions but failed hilariously under Yuko's direct accusations and truth bombs. Haruto reflected aloud, promising to explain if you were willing to rewind and hear the full tale. Yuko excitedly barged in, announcing she would now be entering the tub with Haruto. Declaring the moment fated, Yuko claimed today she would finally bear Haruto's offspring with confidence. With hearts and sparkles flying, Yuko launched herself into Haruto's lap, leaving him speechless. Before impact, Mary swiftly created an ice wall blocking Yuko mid-air with a frozen thud. Sensing Haruto's elevated heart rate, Mary and May entered to stabilize his condition with magic. May gleefully prepares to strike. Haruto panics, unsure whether to intervene or allow violence. Haruto protests loudly, reminding them this is a bathhouse, not a battlefield or training ground. Maid silently obeys, but her glare chills Haruto. She clearly isn't happy about the disruption. The blonde girl clings to Haruto, misinterpreting his intent as an invitation to join the bath. Following orders, Mei begins undressing without hesitation. Haruto is horrified as chaos quietly escalates behind him. Mei joins Haruto in the water, teasing him boldly, mistaking his flustered silence for consent. Haruto realizes the situation has spiraled out of control and panics. As Mei stares in confusion, two younger girls approach curiously, poking Haruto without hesitation, comparing him to their father innocently. Now surrounded, Haruto sits calmly in the bath, suppressing urges with immense will and discipline. Revealing his secret, Haruto boasts his sage mana control overrides physical reactions, keeping him composed. Mei stares silently, her expression unreadable, processing everything that just occurred in the bath. Haruto gently holds Mei's hand. She reflects deeply, surprised such restraint in men exists. Tina listens to the explanation, staring speechless as Haruto remains calmly submerged with the girls. Later, Haruto cheerfully searches for Tina, unaware she's in the kitchen, clearly hurt and upset. Peeking in, Haruto realizes too late Tina's sulking in frustration over his earlier bathhouse situation. Tina reflects sadly, comparing herself to the younger girls, feeling distant from Haruto despite her own youth. She regrets not joining him earlier, quietly blaming her pride while Haruto watches her in silence. Haruto steps in boldly and invites her to join him next time, surprising her completely. Tina panics and demands answers, flustered that Haruto overheard everything she just confessed to herself. Smiling gently, Haruto calls her beautiful and mature, leaving Tina overwhelmed, embarrassed, but deeply touched. Haruto nervously confirms his invitation again, asking what Tina thinks about going to the hot springs. Tina blushes, stunned by the thought of being alone together with him in such a setting. Haruto reassures her with a smile, confirming it is truly just the two of them. Overwhelmed but happy, Tina accepts warmly, finally expressing her feelings and anticipation for their upcoming day. Reality returns quickly. Tina and Haruto stare awkwardly at the mountain of unpeeled potatoes left behind. Haruto jokes cheerfully about the potato mountain, thinking 5 people could finish it together quickly. Tina freezes, stunned, realizing Haruto casually included the other girls. As part of their household, Haruto explains that Mai and Mai are now his spirits and will live with them. Struggling to hide jealousy, Tina forces a shaky smile and quietly accepts the new arrangement. Haruto, with awkward charm, promises their hot springs trip will be private, successfully calming Tina's heart. Tina planned carefully, remembering her pledge to go on a hot springs trip with Haruto. She had spent days delighted, dreaming about the trip, unable to hide her excitement anymore. Though Haruto seemed close to others, Tina always watched him silently, hoping for her moment. She approached his room, excited to finally have him alone, but noticed something under the door. The letter invited her to a date, proving Haruto's feelings and making Tina's heart race. Realizing it was their first date, Tina felt her long-standing wish finally coming true. She arrived early, heart racing, tightly holding the letter that promised her highly anticipated moment. Haruto greeted Tina warmly. She blushed, captivated by his appearance, thinking he looked incredibly handsome, flustered but trying to stay calm. Tina apologized. Haruto reassured her, saying he just arrived. Haruto complimented her outfit with a genuine smile, making Tina overjoyed and proud of her look. Haruto gently held Tina's hand. Her heart pounded as they walked side by side together. She struggled to calm down, overwhelmed with emotions, wondering how she'd survive the entire day. Haruto led Tina to a magical carriage, surprising her with elegant travel plans for today. Tina admired the beautiful carriage and asked curiously if something so luxurious was truly affordable. Haruto smiled proudly, explaining he reserved the town's finest carriage to make their date perfect. Tina's heart nearly exploded at Haruto's charming smile. She could barely contain her feelings. She admitted she'd be happy with anything, as long as she could be with him. Haruto was touched by her honesty and smiled, thanking her warmly for her feelings. Tina apologized for past resentment, softly admitting her emotions while Haruto listened without judgment. She confessed with confidence her heart already belonged to him, as the carriage quietly moved forward. While Tina and Haruto enjoyed their date, others felt bored and clueless about hot springs. Yuko curled up with her tails, claiming mana depletion as her excuse for sleeping non-stop. Despite their fatigue, the girls discussed food, human hunger. They agreed was inconvenient but unavoidable. One girl took initiative, confidently preparing magic to heat the meal left by Tina. Her heating spell triggered a shockwave so powerful it launched Yuko straight out of bed. Yuko discovered a scorched kitchen and 2 girls frizzed by magical cooking gone wrong. They mourned the ruined curry, apologizing. Even Yuko had looked forward to tasting Tina's food, To recover the situation, Yuko boldly offered to cook omelets herself, full of pride. Meanwhile, the twins paused before a forest, deciding to walk carefully due to dangerous creatures. Tina stretched confidently, assuring Haruto she'd protect them from monsters during their journey. No hesitation shown, Haruto stopped Tina, casting a spell himself. He wanted her outfit clean for their date. His magic summoned a flame knight. Tina was amazed by its form and Haruto's skill. Haruto explained he had cleared most threats, but summoned backup in case any monsters remained. Tina revealed her strength, proudly stating her level. She was ready to fight if necessary. Haruto paused quietly, a distant memory surfacing of Tina gravely wounded, cradled in someone's arms. Haruto turned, quietly expressing his wish just this once. He'd be the protector. Tina was stunned, hearing him speak so sincerely. No one had protected her before. Smiling warmly, Tina accepted his offer. Though strange, it felt reassuring to rely on him. She thought back fondly. Haruto had truly grown into a dependable, mature man. At the secluded hot springs, Haruto revealed he'd reserved the entire place just for them. Tina panicked. She always protected Haruto, but this situation was something she couldn't handle calmly. Flustered, Tina realized Haruto might see her naked for the first time during their soakback at Haruto's home. His father examined a massive bill hot springs, outfits, luxury carriage. Haruto claimed the hot spring for privacy, but remained wary of unexpected magical intrusions nearby. To guarantee complete safety, Haruto activated a protective magic circle, preparing a special concealment spell. The barrier manifested seamlessly around the area, hiding the spring's presence from anyone approaching outside. Haruto assured her they were entirely hidden, even their bodies invisible through the magical defense. He admitted it wasn't solely for safety, it was to protect her dignity from others. Tina thanked him shyly, flustered by his protectiveness but secretly happy to be noticed. Haruto prepared to enter the water, unaware of how intently Tina was watching behind him. Caught staring, Tina panicked and apologized, flustered by Haruto's calm response about embarrassment and modesty. Tina blurted out she'd known his body for years, purely from childhood caretaking duties. Overwhelmed by emotion and memory, Tina's thoughts exaggerated everything, symbolized bizarrely by a triumphant elephant cry. Tina finally observed Haruto's grown physique, realizing how much he'd matured over the passing years. Suddenly self-conscious, Tina compared herself, silently hoping her careful grooming made a good impression. Nervous but determined, Tina joined him in the water, her embarrassment clashing with anticipation. As warmth enveloped her, Tina felt restored mana surging gently with the spring's magical energy. Haruto smiled contently beside her, their quiet soak deepened an unspoken bond between them. Tina, now shy again, requested Haruto look away as she prepared to settle herself. Suddenly, she impulsively lunged toward him, wrapping her arms around his back without warning. Haruto, overwhelmed by surprise and contact, could barely speak her name through rising confusion. Her bare skin pressed into him. Both froze, their awareness of closeness peaking awkwardly high. Tina whispered teasingly, flipping the mood by asking if he'd really keep his eyes averted now. Haruto hesitated, but Tina confidently stepped forward, assuring him that she truly meant it. Smiling earnestly, Tina expressed her desire not just to be close, but to be seen. Haruto stared in silent awe, overwhelmed by her openness and beauty, heart racing uncontrollably. Realizing his intense gaze, Haruto quickly apologized, flustered by how long he'd been staring. Tina responded with quiet consent, granting him permission to touch her, completely trusting his intentions. Haruto reached out gently, his hands trembling slightly as Tina waited, eyes closed, expectantly still. Their lips touched softly, a mutual signal of trust deepening between them in quiet warmth. Haruto, surprised by her softness, reflected aloud. Tina nervously anticipated something deeper would follow next. Tina, emboldened and honest, wrapped her arms tighter, confessing she wanted more than affection alone. Their kiss deepened as emotions swelled. Whispers of joy echoed around the spring, muffled by steam hand in hand. They left the steamy sanctuary, ready to leave the forest behind. Tina smiled warmly, but Haruto suddenly summoned a glowing magic circle beneath their feet. Haruto explained the teleportation spell, ensuring Tina wouldn't get sweaty after the hot spring bath. Tina was stunned. Teleportation magic was rare and powerful, usually reserved for legendary sages or heroes. Haruto casually confirmed his new skill, downplaying its significance despite Tina's amazement and rising curiosity. Haruto explained his magical teleportation required a preset circle, like summoning himself through space. With the magic circle glowing beneath them, Haruto signaled it was time to depart together. In a blink, they materialized back in town, Tina quietly amazed by the seamless transition. Haruto cheerfully offered lunch while Tina finally accepted they had truly traveled magically. Still surprised, Tina smiled, happy to stay longer with Haruto, then curiously asked about the missing carriage. Haruto explained the carriage was dismissed. He'd planned ahead for teleportation to make things easier. Instead of returning, Haruto offered they stay the night and have luggage magically sent over. With a cheerful smile, Tina enthusiastically agreed, happy to extend their time alone together. She beamed beside him, inwardly giddy knowing Haruto would be entirely hers that night. Excited and hopeful, Tina called him forward, ready to enjoy their peaceful evening in town. As they walked hand in hand, Tina reflected quietly, grateful for his love and their shared peace. At Ifris Magic Academy, a tense atmosphere loomed as a mysterious power quietly began awakening. Students noticed strange friction between Haruto and Tina, whose closeness hinted at something beyond friendship. As night fell, Tina waited outside, anxious over Haruto's extended training under the moonlit sky. Despite her warning, Haruto continued training fiercely, determined to master his new, magically regenerated arm. A looming secret emerged: Haruto carried dragon blood, granting him elite combat prowess, yet inviting danger. Among dragonkin, one rebelled against their proud ways, thus, the dragon priestess system was created. Dragon priestesses healed all races, spreading divine faith and bearing children with powerful individuals of strength. Beebless children were always dragonoids, inheriting mixed abilities, preserving power across generations and reinforcing dragonic dominance. Ryuka, the new dragon priestess, received divine guidance, preserved magical blood through her chosen partner. Ryuka enrolled at Ifris Academy to find her destined mate, with twin brother Ryushin protecting her. While eating lunch, Ryushin wondered if full dragon transformation could withstand Haruto's overwhelming magic. Ryuka clarified Haruto's Fire Lance's spell, prompting Ryushin to nervously reconsider challenging such destructive power. Imagining the attack's strength, Ryuka hesitantly guessed she might survive if incredibly lucky. Ryuka calmly explained resurrection might work if Haruto used weaker elements and fragments of soul remained. She warned that with light magic, Ryushin's soul would vanish instantly. He refused in pure panic. Ryushin noticed Ryuka's unwavering defense of Haruto and questioned her intentions toward him as a partner. Without hesitation, Ryuka admitted she was truly considering Haruto, shocking Ryushin with her direct conviction. She acknowledged his concern, recalling their mother's warning about fragile, short-lived humans being unworthy mates. But Haruto's immense strength altered her view. Race and origin no longer mattered in her eyes. Even centuries, long lifespans didn't sway her. Ryuka believed love and strength outweighed time itself. The dragon god questioned Ryuka's resolve. Was duty enough if Haruto died far before her? Ryuka admitted she wasn't heartless. She would seek ways to extend Haruto's human lifespan. With faith in Haruto's strength, Ryuka believed someday such a miracle might become reality. Despite her hopes, she saw Tina as a major rival and unbeatable romantic threat. Ryuka punished Ryushin's careless remark about Tina's figure. Meals revoked, pride wounded, lesson instantly learned. Ryushin complimented Ryuka's looks, but his phrasing backfired. She responded with cold disgust and judgment. Ryuka wondered aloud if being attractive gave her a real chance despite Tina's presence. She rationalized boldly Haruto's humanity allowed multiple wives, making her own claim still possible. Ryushin, stunned and confused, questioned the logic. Multiple wives, was that even permitted among humans? Ryuka reaffirmed confidently, joining Haruto and Tina as wives wasn't odd, it simply matched human norms. Ryuka's boldness surprised Ryushin, but she believed assertiveness served her role as dragon priestess. When asked if her heart fluttered, Ryuka admitted she couldn't stop watching Haruto. His magic made her restless, perhaps instinct, perhaps affection, but her feelings kept intensifying with time. Even his simple smile disarmed her. Ryuka found Haruto's presence both powerful and unexpectedly charming. Despite dragonoid traditions, Ryuka confirmed it clearly. She was choosing Haruto, no matter how unconventional. Ryuka admitted her personal feelings matched her duty. She genuinely liked Haruto and chose him. Ryushin accepted her decision, resolving to quietly protect her during their years at the academy. Observing from afar, Ryushin wondered how his reserved sister would grow closer to Haruto. Instead of resting, Ryushin dominated in mock battles, helping Tina-sensei's class achieve a flawless victory. Other students noticed Ryushin's spotlight, voicing frustration and concern about his reckless, overachieving habits on the battlefield. Fueled by dragonoid pride, Ryushin swore to maintain his strength as a black dragon. Ryuko watched knowingly despite his pride. Her brother would surely overtrain himself again that night. First, years dominated the classroom battles. Upperclassmen were held back by Ryushin's overwhelming presence and skill. A mysterious figure observed the trend, intrigued by Ryushin's dominance and the unshifting battlefield status. Tina approaches Haruto at the estate bath, asking permission to quietly join him inside. They both unwind in the large bath, occasionally bathing together as part of their daily routine. Suddenly, a third person spots them together, interrupting with jealousy and frustration written across her face. Bursting into the room, the girl shouts her desire to bathe with Haruto as well. But before she enters, another girl casts ice ground, causing her to slip in surprise. Yuko slips on the frozen floor, crashing heavily as Tina and Haruto watch in shock. Slammed into the wall, Yuko claims magical power is strongest when Haruto bathes completely naked. Meiki and Mai arrive, refusing to let the demon monopolize Haruto's magical power rituals. Haruto suggests they take turns peacefully, but Yuko refuses to yield her exclusive bath time rights. Yuko complains that since Mei and Mei moved in, she's lost nighttime proximity to Haruto. Tina challenges Yuko's claim to fairness, escalating tension with power that threatens structural damage. Haruto interrupts the brewing conflict, seizing the moment to suggest a fair and peaceful solution. He boldly confesses his love for Tina, requesting her sleeping arrangement not be rotated. The other girls are stunned, silently absorbing Haruto's declaration with mixed surprise and resignation. Unexpectedly, everyone agrees without objection, leaving Haruto and Tina baffled by how easily tensions dissolved. Tina blushes intensely, her emotions overwhelming her after Haruto's sincere and sudden love confession. The twins admit they share Haruto's heartbeat through their contract, making Tina even more precious. Overflowing with gratitude and joy, Tina tearfully thanks Haruto, truly touched by his words. Haruto smiles softly and confirms his feelings, gently responding with a heartfelt and quiet yes. The girls suddenly pounce, deciding it is time to extract magical power now that Haruto's naked. Haruto enjoys a peaceful day, reflecting how smoothly his new life in another world flows. While shopping near the academy, Tina happily asks Haruto what they'll have for dinner tonight. They discuss school life. Everyone passed the test except the frustrated and embarrassed Ryushin. Of course, Haruto secretly wishes to impress Tina, while Ryushin dominates class matches in Haruto's absence. Just as Haruto thinks it's his chance, an unexpected encounter interrupts him and Tina. Tina stumbles but is quickly caught by Haruto, blushing while thanking him for the rescue. She apologizes, saying she was simply distracted, while the elf stares at her in deep admiration. The elf suddenly praises Tina's beauty, surprising both her and Haruto with his sparkling admiration. Without hesitation, the elf confesses love to Tina, leaving both Haruto and Tina absolutely speechless. The elf introduces himself as Rain, student council president, alongside Connie, the secretary. Now watching, Rain confesses again and proposes Tina teach his class, shocking Haruto with persistent boldness. Haruto introduces himself firmly, reminding Rain that Tina remains their teacher for the next 7 years. Rain calmly reveals a hidden rule: teachers can be transferred using a rarely known system. Connie explains the trade system is real but only usable by the previous year's top class. Haruto realizes Rain's class earned top marks last year, giving them full rights to make demands. Rain officially invokes the teacher trade system, directly requesting Tina to transfer and lead his class. He argues his superiority, claiming magical mastery and dissatisfaction, dismissing the need to consult his teacher. Rain expresses admiration, desiring the legendary hero Tina Harable as his teacher for his final school years. Haruto clenches his teeth, now fully aware Rain's intentions may not be so noble. Tina reflects silently. Was the confession love, or simply a ploy to use her fame? Haruto learns the trade can be vetoed if the challenged teacher wins a formal battle. Rain issues a smug warning: his undefeated class has never lost a single match before. Haruto clenches his fist, recalling Tina's warmth, determined to protect her no matter the odds. With fiery resolve, Haruto declares a challenge. He'll fight the senior class to keep Tina. Tina watches, deeply moved by Haruto's stand, her expression softening with heartfelt emotion and admiration. Luna gazes at the familiar rabbit plushies, recognizing them from the orphanage charity boxes, catching sight of her friends. Luna deserts the cart and shouts out to Haruto and Rook. Haruto and Rook arrive. Amazed the tab is paid, Luna had quietly settled it already. Grinning playfully, Luna announces it's her turn to lead and begins her personal errands. While sipping tea, Luna casually notes it's the weekend and she's running things today. ARV Fey matches arranged, Haruto fumes over rivals treating Tina Jian-sensei like property. Despite a time limit, Luna's buffs double stats. Haruto pities whoever faces her next. Luna confesses she can't fight directly, but her support magic ensures their team's victories. While shopping, the boys reflect that despite their noble lineage, Luna has them running her errands. Rook smiles, realizing true friendship. Haruto agrees Luna's strength rests in her sincerity, not social status. Rook recalls childhood memories, always receiving privileges, but pursuing his grandfather's path with quiet resolve. Under Grandpa's watchful gaze, young Rook executes Thunderlance flawlessly. Praise follows for his accuracy. Grandfather tests Rook on lightning magic's composition. Rook confidently replies, wind and earth types combine. They discuss advanced theory on how ice, wind, and water combine. Rook grasps magical logic quickly, naturally smiling brightly. Rook explains earth magic guides lightning's path. Grandpa beams, proud of his pupil. Rook's grandfather proudly lifts him, ignoring others' concerns. He proclaims Rook an absolute genius. Despite Rook's talent, Grandpa warns him not to settle. He urges him to aim higher. Rook smiles, stating he's far from satisfied. He wants to master all forms of magic. Looking up with gleaming eyes, Rook promises to become a great sage like his grandfather. Overwhelmed by emotion, Grandpa quietly thanks Rook, deeply moved by his grandson's affection and ambition. Overwhelmed with pride, Grandpa praises Rook, then prepares to reveal a special magic demonstration. Channeling power dramatically, Grandpa instructs Rook to hold tight, thrilled to be supported by family. Rook stares in awe, quietly overwhelmed by Grandpa's immense magical aura taking form. As magic builds, the ground rumbles, lightning is summoned, and Grandpa offers his full power. With ancient words and unwavering focus, Grandpa invokes a storm, ordering his servants to awaken. With a deafening roar, Grandpa unleashes his signature spell, Ultimate Thunder, devastating the surrounding landscape instantly. Rook, stunned and wide-eyed, grips Grandpa's leg, overwhelmed by the scale of destructive energy. Lightning fades, birds scatter. The mountain silence returns, broken only by the boy's amazed breath. Rook stares in disbelief. Grandpa explains this power could conquer nations. If mastered responsibly, his expression serious, Grandpa asks softly, "Does knowing this strength make you fear me now?" Rook confidently says he's not afraid. He believes his grandfather would never abuse magic. Tearing up with pride, Grandpa reminds Rook to employ magic only to protect others. Back in the present, Rook summons Ultimate Thunder, channeling inherited power in battle. A massive impact lands, lightning tearing across the stage, but the opponent remains firmly standing. Both sides gasp. Rook's attack nearly worked, but the enemy endures without even chanting. The opponent suddenly gives up, claiming illness and immobility, leaving Rook surprised by the sudden surrender. Spectators confirm the forfeit. Connie surrenders and is escorted away by concerned classmates. Haruto announces Rook's win, impressed by the outcome. Rook quietly catches his breath in relief. Luna beams proudly. Her magic support helped too. Rook, exhausted, declines to continue the next match. Haruto encourages Rook, reminding him he still has magical power. Rook yields the stage to him. Haruto prepares to face Rain alone. Support magic can't affect him due to a curse. Haruto promises to share his secret someday. Luna and Rook agree to patiently wait. He wonders aloud if he defeats the student council president. Would that make him strongest? Tina lights up with admiration. Haruto grins. Her reaction motivates him even more than victory. Fists clenched, Haruto charges ahead. He'll defeat Rain not for pride, but for Tina's sake. Leafa and Melody hurry forward in a panic, realizing the match has already begun without them. While distracted, Melody runs straight into someone, startling both sides just before the impact violently occurs. Melody clutches her face in pain, timidly apologizing to the unfamiliar student she accidentally struck. Recognizing the boy, Melody angrily confronts him, confused and frustrated by his unexpected presence there. The misunderstanding clears up. He's simply on the wrong side, meant for Rain's fans. Melody notices the crowd is entirely female, each holding a strange stuffed bunny with pride. Rain's fan tradition started with sweets, but evolved into gifting bunnies donated partly to orphanages. Rain once pulled an entire wagon of bunnies, turning it into a school-wide Valentine's spectacle. Excitement builds in the stadium as Haruto enters. Melody and Leafa sense something intense approaching. Haruto prepares his move. Others brace, realizing his attacks require serious space and early warning. Melody and Leafa dash toward the arena, hurrying while thanking others and dodging obstacles ahead. While recalling Haruto's strength, they deduce Rain is now preparing behind the school building. Rain steps confidently onto the battleground while the crowd erupts. tension rising before the final showdown. Behind Rain, the crowd grows. School walls echo with anticipation as the match's climax. As friends arrive, Rook declares victory over Connie, determined to win the final match decisively. Supporters cheer fiercely from the stands, shouting encouragement as Rook prepares to face overwhelming odds. Rain calmly invites the match to begin. Rook stands ready, the arena growing silent around them. Despite Rain's strength, Rook focuses on his mission, thinking of Tina and summoning powerful dark magic. Rook recalls saving Tina's life using a magic stone, costing him 30% of his power. As Rian steps forward, Rook interrupts with determination, stopping him to speak before the match begins. Recalling the forest, Haruto launches Waterlance magic amplified from the power he once shared with Tina. The crowd watches tensely. Melody shouts. Rian suspects something unusual. This isn't ordinary magic, but summoning with a commanding cry. Haruto summons Undine, a water spirit, forming his greatest magical counterattack. Spectators gasp as a cold wind rises. Snowflakes swirl while magical pressure descends from Undine's manifestation. An immense barrier forms across the entire arena, enclosing the battlefield in mystical energy and awe. Undine's chilling aura spreads. Viewers shiver as memories stir and emotional weight hangs over the battlefield. Rian realizes the magical barrier's purpose. Haruto declares readiness to unleash his full strength immediately. Flashing back to Edgar, Rain recalls requesting an additional barrier. He wants to fight at maximum capacity. Rain launches Fire Lance. Flames crash violently into Haruto's wall of ice. Sparks and steam explode. With eyes sharp and demanding, Rain glares at Haruto, challenging him to fight more seriously. Rain snaps confidently, reminding Haruto of the barrier's purpose to allow overwhelming power without consequence. An enormous explosion erupts. Rian holds back, thinking the battle might end too fast otherwise. The audience watches in horror. Haruto appears through the smoke standing, bruised but surprisingly unscathed. Rain narrows his eyes, surprised. He hadn't expected Haruto to withstand the full brunt of that hit, seeing Haruto alive and determined. Tina beams with relief. Haruto resumes his battle stance. Eyes locked, Rian is stunned. Haruto stands untouched despite the damage, raising doubts about his own power. Haruto questions the impact, realizing Rian's serious tone might be a test, not full strength. Rian raises his hand and summons Ifrit, a massive elemental spirit radiating overwhelming fire energy. Ifrit speaks directly to Haruto, explaining his current loyalty lies with Rian through a magical contract. Ifrit attacks relentlessly. Rian follows up, casting Fire Lance as Haruto scrambles to evade both threats. Despite evading blasts, Haruto realizes his current output won't suffice and gradually starts increasing his power. Rain calmly instructs Ifrit to continue, his strategy still unfolding with cold, methodical precision. Melody fumes from the sidelines, frustrated by Rain's restraint and cautious behavior against Haruto's strength. Haruto conserves power intentionally, fearing collateral damage, but his restraint may leave him vulnerable and exhausted. Rain analyzes the situation. Haruto endures everything thrown at him, yet remains sharp, unshaken, and tireless. Rain narrows his eyes, sensing a hidden force behind Haruto's resilience. Something isn't adding up. A sudden detonation shattered the stone floor as Haruto's hand reached forward, releasing destructive force. The elf mage analyzed calmly. Haruto's attack barely damaged his defenses, raising questions about Haruto's true power. Haruto dashed through falling debris. His opponent mocked him, unsure if Haruto's attacks were serious or not. From smoke cover, Haruto flanked behind. The elf smirked, daring him to finally fight at full strength. Hovering fireball in hand, Haruto froze. The elf threatened Tina's safety, forcing Haruto to respond. Haruto's eyes widened. Take, the word echoed ominously, stirring deep determination behind his rising resolve. Remembrances of Tina's smile returned. Her joy reminded Haruto why he had to shield her. With sudden force, Haruto launched skyward, shouting his spell. The elf couldn't comprehend his strange aim. A fiery beast emerged from the blast. Haruto summoned Ifrit, turning the tide through sheer will. Haruto declared dominance. The elf froze, sensing Ifrit's power. Tina's fate would not change hands. Ifrit's flame coiled above, drawing attention. The crowd watched Haruto's strange strategy unfold quietly. The elf hesitated. Spirit laws were strict. Ifrit could serve only one master at once. Haruto stood firm. Ifrit responded, choosing the one with superior magical energy beyond all expectations. Students whispered in awe. Haruto's summoning magic had surpassed the elite, shocking even Rain's supporters. Haruto's power surged uncontrollably, His ally watched, stunned. His magic flowed endlessly, like a bottomless pit. The elf's confidence wavered. Haruto's power kept rising. His magic was now too overwhelming to measure. Haruto remembered his first vow. He chose fire spirit magic to grow stronger and shield others. Channeling his passion and memories, Haruto unleashed Fire Lance, Tina's first lesson driven by purpose, not just technique. Observers gasped as Haruto's spell roared. Students watched wide-eyed, realizing this wasn't just a demonstration. The explosion hit. Tina cried out instinctively. Terrified, Haruto was now battling beyond what they imagined. A thick smoke cloud blinded the crowd. Instructors prepared healing, unsure who survived the blast. Cracks radiated from the impact zone. A summoning circle burned into stone beneath Haruto's feet. Haruto staggered. Blood rushed to his head. The price of his magic was catching up. Ran gracefully conceded. Haruto stepped out of bounds but achieved what mattered, protecting what truly counted. Headmaster Roano confirmed Haruto's victory. Students cheered. Haruto had just redefined what magic strength really meant. Ren confessed his methods, leveraging secrets to win, but Haruto's power made that strategy useless. Now Haruto's reputation spread. Rivals acknowledged him impossible to beat through tricks or research. His strength was undeniable. Headmaster Ronano, quietly proud, reaffirmed his support. He promised to protect students and Haruto's growing potential. Later, Tina arrived at the academy. She came to reply to the offer made earlier. With a calm smile, Tina agreed under certain conditions. She'd accept the teaching position offered. Tina's first condition: group Haruto's allies together in one class, including Ifrit's human form. Second condition: Tina herself would become Haruto's homeroom teacher. Ruano groaned. Already dismissing his grandson's plea, Tina explained current teachers couldn't handle this exceptional class. The freshmen needed far more guidance. Ruano admitted she was right. Tina had clearly seen through his situation and subtle motives. Privately, Ruano reflected. His era was ending soon. Otherworldly champions would face the Demon Lord. Ruano outlined his true goal: raising young elites to survive or assist heroes against evil. Despite family ties, Ruano praised Rook's rare talent, worthy to inherit the great sage's legacy someday. To honor promises, Ruano arranged various races' youths to attend school alongside Rook this year. By fate or fortune, even spirits delayed enrollment. Ruano coordinated with kingdoms and spirit kings. Gifted students, beastmen, demons, allies all gathered. Luna's bond with Rook and Haruto strengthened their group's unity. Originally, Ruano planned to separate them until graduation, believing competition would forge their growth better. But Tina's arrival changed everything. Ruano entrusted her with the future, his final act of faith. Tina accepted the burden with calm grace. Her confidence reassured everyone, including Ruano himself. Connie, Rain's secretary, uncovered everything easily. Her investigation confirmed the headmaster's next-generation hero training program. Even Rain accepted defeat, wishing to attend Tina's class himself. Connie revealed secrets unexpectedly and casually. Rain looked around at the gathered students, confident in their future he could graduate peacefully. Haruto wandered, sensing something. As he turned, he softly called her name, Tina. Tina rushed toward him joyfully. Haruto embraced her warmly, touched by her sincere congratulations. With pride, Haruto whispered he had won. He had become the strongest at the academy. Tina smiled. Having watched everything, their bond deepened. Celebration, strength, and affection now shared in full. Haruto gently requested a reward, something personal, heartfelt for all he had endured to protect everyone. Tina accepted his unspoken wish without hesitation. They stood close, the moment quiet and sincere. Wrapped in her arms, Haruto received her gratitude. A kiss, a smile, his well-earned peace.